sending that one forward. Finds Carter Lowe through the neutral zone. Lowe waits, takes the shot, kicks aside, rebound, scores! Cole Bodwin! Welcome to the Meridian Center in St. Catharines as we get ready for tonight's game between the Barrie Colts and the Niagara IceDogs. I see that you left a few things done here, Josh, since you were in charge of game number 3. But that's okay. My voice seems to be coming back, so we're going to give this one a go. I want to thank everyone for the kind messages already at the start. So hello to Brian, and thank you, Tammy. And also thank you to Liam for being a super chat even before the game gets underway for game number 4 here on the road at Meridian Center.
Yeah, we may not be spending it during the broadcast, but we should let Liam know that we have spent money pre-game on drinks and snacks. So your money is going towards the fund, and Gene's popcorn has been paid off already.
Well, there you go. And we have to prepare for potentially hotel visits in the second round. But in the meantime, we are in the first round between Barrie and Niagara. And for the last game here, a very physical affair where the Barrie Colts kind of dominated most of that game.
Yeah, we talked about it in the first period really early on, how kind of just felt like Niagara was letting Barrie work the puck around, not getting too physical with them, which was kind of weird to see. I mean, sometimes you may see a team that's pretty tough at home go on the road and not be as tough, but to see them be very physical in the Sadlon Arena, then come back to their home ice and not really bring that physical effort was a bit of a surprise. And for the Barrie Colts, though, they came out flying similar to how they did in game number 2. The only difference is they stuck with it. They outshot Niagara 6-0 in back-to-back games to start the game. But in game number 2, they kind of just got away from their game, let Niagara back into it. Well, the other night, Niagara, they score a couple goals to get back in it twice, but Barrie, they just weren't giving up enough chances for Niagara to keep themselves in the game. And Ben Horebic, he stopped 16 of 18. Doesn't sound too great, but down the stretch, he made a couple nice saves to keep the Barrie Colts out on top.
And expect a very desperate Niagara IceDogs team here this evening, because this could be their final home game here at the Meridian Center. We've already noticed maybe some superstition coming out here with the IceDogs. They wore their red jerseys on game 3, but tonight switching it up to the black. So it's kind of funny how those hockey superstitions get in there, even when it comes to playoff time, such as this, when it comes to uniform sets.
Yeah, we've gotten to that time of year where superstitions are huge. I could even hear outside the media room, the game day crew preparing for potentially having to put some stuff away tonight if the IceDogs do lose, so they wouldn't have to come back later on if the IceDogs do lose the series in 5. So yeah, like you mentioned, desperation time for the IceDogs. You don't want to go down 3-1 ever, especially heading back to the Sadlon Arena when Niagara's already taken a home game away from the Barrie Colts. Colts played really good down the stretch at the Sadlon Arena, and it's going to be pretty tough to win a second straight road game against this Barrie Colts team at the Sadlon Arena. But after game 1, the Colts looked pretty good. It was kind of like, hey, they win 4-1. They hold Niagara to 24 shots, looking good through one game. Niagara, really good pushback. They were able to take game number 2. Expect more of the same tonight. This series is far from over here between the Colts and the IceDogs.
Now, there are some roster adjustments for the Barrie Colts here tonight. First things first, Calvin Crombie has been assessed a 1-game suspension. That's a result of the hit from behind that happened in game number 3, so he will miss today's action. And also out, Jaden Newton, and that's due to illness. Illness is going around, and Dylan Smoskowitz was saying that they're trying to keep him away from the rest of the team just because you don't want that sweeping through. And I'm someone that speaks from experience. You don't want to be dealing with illness right about now. That's why I already gave you a buffer zone. But anyways, yes, so there's going to be a couple of changes to the lineup here tonight for Barrie.
Yeah, Egger's in, Govro's in as well. Nicholas Desterio is going to move up to the third line, and I think that's fair. I thought he had a solid game on Tuesday, played pretty well, especially on the forecheck. He was getting in on those IceDogs defenders, and he'll bring more of that to the third line. And Crombie and Newton, they're not the most flashy guys, but those are 2 heart and soul guys coming out of the lineup. I think those are bigger losses than some people may realize. Jaden Newton, I mean, he's a guy that can move up and down in that third and fourth line, but of course, at the same time, we've talked about no excuses before, and especially no excuses right now, because you look at the trade-off. Newton and Crombie out for the Barrie Colts, but on the IceDogs side, Ethan Zada serving the second half of his 2-game suspension, and then Ryan Robert's still out with that ankle sprain. So I'm sure the Ice Dogs are looking at and saying, "We don't really care that Crombie and Newton are out. Look at our scratches tonight because those are two pretty big pieces to their team." And looking at the lines today, Chris Barch is switching up his wingers a good amount in today's game.
Yeah, it's looking a little different here tonight, but this is where desperate times call for desperate measures when it comes to Niagara and their playoff hopes. But we're going to take a moment to go to our coach's corner, presented by Mariposa School of Skating, to catch up with Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz. Catching up with head coach Dylan Smoskowitz, and for this series, it's been a pretty feisty one between the Colts and the IceDogs. I know coming into this series, it's a rivalry, so you're not really expecting it to maybe be this heated, so to speak?
We're expected to be more heated, to be honest with you. That's the way we play. And whether you're playing a team in the playoffs who is a natural rival or maybe not a foe that you see too often, as soon as the playoff series starts, that team instantly becomes a rival. You play the same team, in 4 or 7 games, and you're going to create some bad blood. So the more physical, the more hate, the more animosity that this series develops, the more it favors us.
And we saw a couple of reviews in game number 3, and one of those situations involved Calvin Crombie, so he's out of the lineup for tonight. How important is it to continue to be physical, but to try not to cross that line to risk suspension like that?
We preach that to our guys, honestly, on a daily basis. We want to toe that line as close as we possibly can, and sometimes we feel like we do, but you leave a little bit up to the ref discretion, and you have to be mindful of that. At the same time, you have to respect the decisions, and we do. It's fine, but it's not going to change our mindset. It's not going to change the way we play. Our guys are still pedal to the metal, are still towing that line smartly. So looking forward to another heated battle tonight.
And in Game 3, Kayshawn Aitchison came back, and it seemed like it kind of motivated the guys there. You guys heavily outshot Niagara in that first period. It seemed like you guys set the pace and didn't let Niagara off the hook there.
Yeah, I really liked our first period. I mean, it's something we focused on yesterday in practice, trying to build off that first period, to understand what we did, why we were successful, what we have to do for an entire 60 minutes. I feel like if we brought that 20 minutes to the second and third last game, it would have been a blowout. The game would have been over, and we could have not squeezed so tight to finish up there with an empty net. But again, our guys have to understand that there's a certain style and a certain level of compete that we're accustomed to, and we're really looking forward to seeing that for 60 minutes tonight.
Obviously, Niagara not on the ropes as of yet, but are you expecting this to be a little bit more desperate hockey here from the IceDogs on home ice?
Well, I think any game in the playoffs, you're going to see desperation. For a team to not be desperate, it's just a waste of opportunity. So I know they're a well-coached team, and I know that they've got a lot of good things going on in that room right now. So we're expecting their best, but we've expecting their best every single game we played them, and it makes no difference to us. They're going to give us their best. We're going to give them our best, and may the best team win.
So that was Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz, who says that every game is a rivalry matchup when it comes to the playoffs, and that was in full display on Tuesday night when these two teams went head-to-head, and we saw some big hits. We saw some players go off with injury, Gallianoff being one of them. He had that collision with Kayshawn Aitchison, but ended up staying out there. Wraith Smith took that hit from Calvin Crombie, and it just seems like these two teams are going back and forth, and you kind of wonder, will we see more of that, or do they try to maybe play a little more disciplined here, knowing what's on the line here, especially when you're the Niagara IceDogs?
Yeah, you got to be careful. You look at that last game. I mean, Smith goes after Emerton late in the game, and if he's not careful there, he could have done something potentially that could lead to a suspension. You look at the Barrie Colts side of things. Jonah McCormick and Calvin Crombie were both sitting in the box with 5-minute reviews. Now, obviously, luckily for Barrie, the McCormick one didn't turn into anything, so that saves you. But I mean, both of those penalties came in situations where the IceDogs did still have a shot in the game, and the Colts almost got lucky both times. I mean, the McCormick one only becomes a 2, and then that Crombie one, yeah, he sits for 5, but they get lucky because Gallianoff takes an instigator penalty against them. So now all of a sudden it's 4-on-4 for 2 minutes of that, and then a 3-minute power play, and then by that time momentum had kind of faded for the Niagara IceDogs. So you definitely got to be careful, and special teams obviously a big factor. The Barrie Colts power play looks really good right now. If the IceDogs are going to take penalties, Barrie's going to capitalize, and as we saw on Tuesday, both units are going to capitalize.
And the power play has struggled for the Niagara IceDogs, and that's something that, if you're the Barrie Colts, you don't want to continue to let them have chance after chance to improve, because we saw that in game number 2, where the power play seemed to come to life for the IceDogs. So if Chris Barch can get his team motivated on that specialty teams unit, move the puck around quickly and figure out what worked in game number 2 last weekend and pull it here, then I think we're going to be seeing a much different result.
Yeah, it feels like special teams were the story of the game for the IceDogs in that one. I mean, they get that power play goal to tie the game at 1, and then after that, it's another power play goal tying the game at 2. After killing off most of that 5-minute major with only 1 goal against. So a strong job on the power play, a decent job on the penalty kill as well, allowed the IceDogs to win that game. And if they can bring that same approach to special teams, it's going to give them a good shot here tonight.
So both teams coming out on the ice, and you can just feel the intensity rising here at the Meridian Center. And it's been kind of unique seeing some of the fans that have been roaming the stands. We saw Calvin Crombie, Brantford Bulldog jerseys in the stands, and London Knight jerseys in support of Ben Wilmot. So it seems as though everybody's here ready for a good time here between the Colts and the IceDogs.
Yeah, the Barrie Colts have been getting support from around the league. I see even another person in a Knights jersey over there. I don't think that's the same guy we've been seeing for the most part. But, we're just missing Brampton Steelhead jerseys now. And then we'll basically have it all coming together.
Well, we've had Brampton supporters here on the broadcast before with the chat, so maybe that's where they're going to turn up. But we are getting ready for the puck drop here at Meridian Center, so we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we will have the first period between the Barrie Colts and the Niagara IceDogs. So we're getting ready to go for the first period of play here in St. Catharines between the Barrie Colts and the Niagara IceDogs. And while we have a moment, let's take a look at our starting goaltenders, presented by Craighurst Crossing by Georgia Communities. New homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm.
Well, it's more of the same on both sides. First for the Barrie Colts, Ben Horevic getting the start here in game number 4. Horevic coming into tonight 2-0 with 929 save percentage and a 150 goals against average. Horevic only faced 18 shots the other night against Niagara in game 3, stopping 16 of those shots. For the Niagara IceDogs, Vladislav Yermolenko remaining in net. 1-2-0 in the playoffs with a 915 save percentage and a 316 goals against average for Yermolenko. He stopped 31 of 35 in the loss against Barrie in game number 3.
Your referees tonight, Chad Inglis and Nick Isaacson, and on the lines, Eric Taylor and Joe Kilbowich. So it's a must-win situation here for the Niagara IceDogs if they want to have a second date here at the Meridian Center on Monday night. But for the Barrie Colts, wanting to go up 3-1 and a chance to end the series on home ice Saturday night up at Saddlein Arena, and we are underway. Face-off, kicked ahead by Zabeski. That's going to go back behind the Niagara net. Yermolenko sends this one around the glass. Passmore takes a run at Noah Reed, and that puck's going to go down the ice. Aitchison sends that one forward. That's going to bounce beside the Niagara net. Chromiak, he'll collect it, turns it over. Quick shot, stopped by Yermolenko. Loose puck, backhand Zabeski. Stopped by Yermolenko. As the Barrie Colts getting some early pressure here and some odd turnovers right in front of the net for Niagara.
Well, it's cool to see the two top lines going at it right off the start. No matchup line out there for the IceDogs. Kind of like they had in game number 3 in there. I mean, Smith, just a bad clear attempt. Easily turns it over to Baudouin, setting up that opportunity out front and off the rebound. Patterson just trying to kind of gives it right back to the Colts. Niagara, a shaky start here, and they need to be a bit better than that if they want to get things going here.
Almost looked a little too casual to start there for the Niagara IceDogs, but we'll get the face-off now to the right of Yermolenko. Gardner's going to take the draw against Patterson. Patterson will win this one back. Colts pick it up. Wilmot sends this one around. He's facing pressure there from Wang. Noah Reed takes the hit. Can't get it out of the zone. Salandra down low to Wilmot. Ben Wilmot with possession. Stays with it. Surrounded by black sweaters. Goes to Gardner. Brad Gardner fans on it. In front. Wilmot shot scores. Right off the hop. Ben Wilmot puts it 5-hole on Yermolenko. And the Barrie Colts, they're already up 1-0.
What a start for the Barrie Colts here. Ben Wilmot finished the scoring the other night. He's going to open it up here tonight. Not the start the IceDogs were looking for. It's only been 43 seconds, but it's already a really bad start. Again, they can't get the puck out of the zone, and then Gardner just crossed the ice. No IceDogs able to get their sticks on it. Just a lazy start from Niagara. No one looking ready to play here tonight. And the Barrie Colts have opened the scoring for the 4th straight game.
No hitting, no pressure. It was just allowing Barrie to go to the net, and Ben Wilmot now has 3 goals in the playoffs. Here's Chase Hull. He's going to send this one across. IceDogs trying to get it in. That's taken away by Kayshawn Aitchison. Aitchison comes out from behind the net. He'll hit the brakes. Long pass. Up ahead to William Schneid. Schneid hits the brakes. Comes off the boards to the point. Gives it up to Aitchison. To the net. Backhand. Across scores. Nicholas Desiderio this time. And that one, again, didn't look like much of an effort. An easy pass from Aitchison across, and it's 2-0.
Well, the Niagara IceDogs, they look like the Owen Sound attack right now. Like, they look like they are down 3-0 in this series. They just don't look like they want to play at all. I mean, Aitchison just sends it up the ice for William Schneid, comes in the zone, fights off Reisnecker, gives him a little tap, gets it across. Aitchison just comes sliding through, is wide open, and Desiderio's open on the goal doorstep. I mean, this is a very weird start for Niagara, and Chris Barch can't be happy right now.
And we've only passed the 1-minute mark of this hockey game, and it's already 2-0 for the Barrie Colts. So the IceDogs will send it into the Barrie zone. That's not going to go too far. Colts try to play it. Delche turns it over. Galianov, though, follows it up. Horevic behind his own net. He's going to send this one around. At the point, Eamon Edgar. He's going to send this one deep. Back to pick it up is Galianov. Gallianoff takes a hit from McCormick. McCormick trying to send it around. That's knocked down by Edgar. McCormick to Edgar. Edgar's going to go behind the Niagara net. In front, bounces around, and Yarmolenko able to cover it up. But now we're going to get Jonah McCormick to introduce himself to a couple of IceDogs.
Oh, Govro and Reisnecker going at it. Those two are going to drop the gloves, Mike.
Yeah, two big boys going at it. Luke Govro and Reisnecker. This is the second fight of the series for Reisnecker. As Govro got that left free, Reisnecker nearly got him off balance. Govro trying to get that right to go. They continue to throw rights. Govro reaching for the shoulder. He's got the grab, trying to toss him over. They're still on their skates. What a lengthy tilt. And then Reisnecker with the takedown.
Well, that's going to get the crowd into it, and maybe it gets the Niagara IceDogs going. Once again, that shift, I mean, there's a rebound sitting out front there, and Niagara very lackadaisical around the net, allowing the Barrie Colts to get in Yarmolenko's crease, and then afterwards, McCormick gets into it with a couple IceDogs. Govro and Reisnecker separate themselves from the group, and eventually no officials get involved, so the two of them drop the gloves. And what a start to this game.
So it's already 2-0. We've had a fight. What more do we need from this hockey game?
Let's go home.
That's about it, right?
We're done. Hey, Gene, we're going home. It's over. It's done. 2 goals and a fight. We're done. We're going home.
Well, I think the other thing is my voice is going. So I'm actually going. I've never done this before.
You're tapping out?
I have you can't hear it?
Oh, I can hear it. I didn't want to say anything.
Well, you're going to do the play-by-play now.
Okay. Are you doing color?
I'll do color.
Okay. Here we go. He's tapping out.
My voice is dying.
He's done.
I tried. I'm going to do color. Yeah. So Josh is going to do the play-by-play now.
All right.
I got to call 2 goals.
I know. Watch. We won't get another goal the rest of the night.
You're welcome.
Well, anyways, the top lines are back out there. Beaudoin wins the draw. Back to Kayshawn Aitchison. No instigators on the play, so we remain 5-on-5. Aitchison sending it into the zone. Sabeski trying to catch up to it. Loses it to Chromiak. Puck is loose. Hemming trying to send it to the net. That's deflected and goes wide. Beaudoin right back on the rebound, sending it back to the point for Passmore, who loses it. And the IceDogs will get it back out the other way. Noah Reed for Hayden Reed up the wing. Getting it back to the middle. That was broken up. Beaudoin quickly ahead for Hemming. Right back into the Niagara zone. Emil Hemming sent into the boards by Chromiak. Spesky getting involved as well, and Patterson takes him down from behind. Chromiak and Hemming, pair of imports going at it. Hemming knocks it back to the point. Aitchison over to Passmore. Passmore sends a shot save made by Yarmolenko. Rebound. Hemming. Beaudoin, a chance, scores! Cole Beaudoin adds on, and the Barrie Colts early game dominance continues 3-0, less than 3 minutes in.
So I didn't take all the goals from you, but it's just we haven't even reached 3 minutes into this hockey game, and the Barrie Colts right now are just being allowed to do whatever they wish, basically, in the offensive end, and they're just moving it around. And now Beaudoin with the finish, and the Niagara IceDogs, they're going to change their goaltender. So in comes Charlie Robertson.
Yeah, Yarmolenko is done. Charlie Robertson into the game. Yarmolenko stopping 3 of 6 to get it started. And, you know, Yarmolenko and Robertson, they split the net down the stretch, but that 48-save performance by Yarmolenko, it kind of feels like that's what got him the start in this one. He's done a really good job, but here tonight, nothing for the IceDogs, and kind of feels like this may be more of a poll about trying to get the rest of the team going. 3-0 for Barrie. Cole Beaudoin on the board now for the Colts. Barrie's got 3 goals, and they've got them from 3 different lines. Emerton across for Elias, and up ahead, Brad Gardner gets a touch on it. He'll send it into the Niagara end. Hao-Shi Wang around the boards for Blake Barnes. He turns that one over. Gardner looking to go back to the point, knocked down by Edgar. Battle for it against the boards. Gardner knocks it down behind the net again. Chasing after it, Emerton. He takes the hit from Hao-Shi Wang. Cage able to play it off the boards, and back the other way comes Edgar. Arson Edgar into the Colts end. He'll spin back, pressured by a pair of Colts. That's Salandra knocking the puck loose. Comes up the wing. Hage looking to get it back for Edgar, but that's broken up. Once again, 11-7 for the IceDogs. So Edgar getting an extra shift here. Gardner looked to play it to Emerton. That misses, but Hao-Shi Wang gives it right back to Gardner. Comes up the wing, flipping it in. Puck goes down low. Barnes catching up to it. He nearly turned it over again. Wang, pressure by Low. He's able to get it across to Barnes. Off the boards, back the other way. Chasing after it is Knopf. Judd Knopf got a promotion to the third line tonight in favor of Alexander Hage. He'll send a shot to the net. That's blocked and deflected, and will go up into the netting.
Well, that's so far the most offensive time the Niagara IceDogs have had with the puck, but for the IceDogs, you can't really blame Yarmolenko giving up 3 goals on just 6 shots. It was just basically a free pass to the net for the Barrie Colts. And Yarmolenko went down the tunnel in frustration. He's only coming back just now. But if you're Chris Barch, you need to dig deep to find somebody to, get that spark. And even that fight with Reisnecker didn't seem to do the trick.
Well, it's going to be an interesting talk in the locker room if they even make it that far. The TV timeout coming up in 2 minutes, and I think we'll be watching the IceDogs bench to see what Chris Barch has to say. Here come the Colts. Schneid into the zone, takes the shot, save made by Robertson. Rebound Desiderio looking to send it to the net. That was blocked by Lowe out in front. And back the other way come the IceDogs. Patterson sent across. Hayden Reed into the Colts end, flipping it to the middle. That misses. Comes back out the other way. Doherty will send it right back in for the IceDogs, and got a whistle here.
I almost wonder if it's too many
IceDogs
men.
penalty?
Or is it icing?
Icing.
I thought it was going to be too many men for a second there.
Well, we've done it again. First one was all on me. That time it was both of us.
Well, it was just the way the referees were in front of the Niagara bench. It was just... Anyways, icing. There you go. You got it.
We got it. Eamon Edgar out there for the Colts. He'll take the face-off against Patterson. Salandra joining the fourth line with Govero in the box for that fight with Ben Reisnecker. Puck comes back out the other way. Passmore sending it right back in for the Colts. Robertson got a touch on it as it comes around the boards. Still Elche is there. He takes a hit from Edgar. Around the boards, Tiller. Back out the other way. Back to Colts possession. Aitchison to Salandra. He'll slap it into the Niagara end. Robertson slows it down. McCormick gets to it first. Down low now, Edgar behind the net. Him and Edgar played in game 1. Scratched the last 2 games, but back in the lineup here tonight. Salandra trying to get it free. Battling off Galyanov, who's able to get the puck back for Niagara, and the IceDogs will skate it out the other way. Galyanov for Noft up the wing. His shot goes way wide of Horebic. Back out the other way to Baudouin. Well, it took 10 minutes last time for the IceDogs to get their first shot. We're past 5 minutes. Still no shots for them. Big hit there by Noft on Baudouin. Aitchison a shot and a save made by Robertson. Now Baudouin getting into it out front of the net. Zabeski's going to get a face wash from Spencer as well. So obviously Niagara, frustration starting to kick in early in this one.
Well, they need somebody to step up, and Judd Noft saw his opportunity with Cole Baudouin skating through the neutral zone, trying to knock him off stride. That is not easy to do, but we'll also give credit to Zabeski standing up for his teammate there, not allowing Noft to go up and try and face wash the Colts co-captain.
So Baudouin will take the draw against Ryerson Edgar. 14:46 to go in the first period. And if you were late getting here, you already missed 3 Colt goals. Wilmot, Desiderio, and Baudouin. Hemming a shot, scores! Another one for the Barrie Colts. Hemming with the shot. Zabeski was out in front. Not sure if he got a deflection. Looks like Hemming's going to lead the pile. That's goals in back-to-back. And the Colts, they are up 4-0 just over 5 minutes into this game.
Well, it's good timing. You just said if you miss the first 3 goals, well, we got one here for you from Emil Hemming, as that one went straight from the point and went right through the crowd. So now the Niagara IceDogs, they're going to call a timeout. They need to stop the bleeding here because it was just a simple face-off win. Hemming fired it from the point. I don't think Robertson was able to see it, but this is not the start the IceDogs were looking for. And you mentioned it earlier. We're kind of witnessing an Owen Sound attack kind of game out there.
They just got nothing going right now. And I mean, I would have called a timeout earlier. Like, now you're calling a timeout at 4-0. There's 40 seconds until the TV timeout. Like, you're probably going to get to talk to your team at the next whistle after this. I would have called it at 3-0, 3 minutes in. Maybe even 2-0, considering you're down 2-1 in the series already. But so now off that timeout, the top line right back out there for the Barrie Colts. They've gotten 2 straight goals. They lead this game 4-0. Emil Hemming His first of the night, second of the series. It's the IceDogs looking to mount a comeback now. Eliasson up the boards for Zabeski. Hall with the hit. Edgar, a shot save made by Hrebeck. And the fake cheer is out. Here's a shot from Hall. Blockered away by Hrebeck again. Found Zabeski broken up. Ray Smith. Behind the net, Eliasson to Emerton. Up ahead, Mason Zabeski looking to go back the other way. He'll flip it off the boards into the IceDogs end, and this is going to be icing as Spencer and Hemming go into the boards, and then Spencer with a big shot at Zabeski there. Two of them tied up yet again.
And I think we're getting a penalty out of this. Is it Zabeski and Spencer or just Spencer? Because he did do that shot at Mason Zabeski.
Looks like both of them are going to go.
But it's never a good sign when your home crowd is now cheering when you take a shot. As Ben Hrebeck made one blocker save that was registered. But it has just not been a good night here for the Niagara IceDogs. They just were not ready to play. And now it's going to be a 4-on-4 situation with Zabeski and Spencer in the penalty box. Well, what a game.
Wow. So less than 6 minutes in, we were at 4-0 for the Barrie Colts. 3 different lines have scored. Yermolenko's been pulled. We've had a fight, and we
still haven't had the
now.
TV timeout.
Here's Patterson, a shot blocked by Von Richter. We had a timeout as well. Patterson fights off Gardner, gets around Von Richter, and that goes wide of Hrebeck. Rebound's going to come all the way back down the other way. Race for the puck. Von Richter will retreat back to his defensive position, which allows Barnes to take the puck for the IceDogs. Blake Barnes going to slow this one down. Now he'll bring it forward. 13:40 remaining in the opening frame. That gets past Hrebeck. Hayden Reed is there. I guess I shouldn't have said that. That probably scared Colts fans saying it got past Hrebeck. Down low, Patterson. Knocked off the puck by Von Richter. Given to Wilmot. Down Wilmot, looking to go back the other way. 3-on-3, they'll come into the zone. Wilmot around Barnes, around Wang, to the net. Schneid, him and Reed go down into the net. And the net will come off, and that'll get us a whistle into the TV timeout. Mike, I got to admit, off the start there, it was a bit weird trying to transition from talking like a color commentator to a play-by-play commentator on the fly like that.
Well, I got to admit, I have never had to do that before, but with how great you were on Tuesday and you handled that last-minute tap in to do play-by-play, I figured, you know what, Josh McCann can do this.
Well, you know, it is your wife's birthday on Saturday if you don't want to show up that day either.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if my voice is ready for the Rogers TV broadcast on Saturday.
Well, Laura, if you're listening, make sure to hide the medication, and maybe you'll get your wish. But
you never know.
We're here in the first period. It's 4-0 for the Barrie Colts, and you know, like we've been saying, I mean, the Niagara IceDogs just came out with, and they didn't look like they wanted to play. I mean, the Barrie Colts, they didn't get lucky in those first couple minutes. Niagara, they were weak on pucks, lazy as can be in the defensive zone. And that's how we've gotten to this 4-0 score.
And they almost made it 5-0 too, because they've been doing a great job just passing it crisscross. And Schneid, if he would have been able to get a stick on it, he had a clear path to the net. It would have been an easy 5-0 tap in. But for Niagara, we saw Knopf throw a couple of hits, Reisenecker with the fight, Spencer gets the penalty for roughing. But outside of that, there's really been no physical play by the Niagara IceDogs to try and, you know, wrestle that puck away.
Well, it took a while, but they did fix the net. They kind of just left it there. Now, the officials let the penalty time run down, so it was sitting at 51 seconds. They have to reset it. It looks like it's going to go to 1:10. So there is still 1:10 remaining, 4-on-4, with 13:17 to go in the first period. William Schneid back out there. He'll take the face-off against Hayden Reed for the IceDogs. Schneid gets kicked out. Solandro will come in. They're joined by Hanser and Emerton on the back end. Reed's got Gallianoff with him. He's able to win the draw and will drop it back to Barnes. Schneid chasing, gets it across. Hao-Shi Wang up the wing. Hang out some space, calms it down, gets to the red line, flips it in. Stog's going to switch up some of their players. Battle for it down behind the net of Hrebeck. Hands are all over Gallianoff. The two of them going at it now. Hanser lost his stick, so now 4-on-3.5 for the IceDogs. Edgar, a shot blocked by Emerton. Hanser trying to kick it, gets it to Emerton. Now Salandra's gone back the other way. If he can get it there, he does. Salandra able to knock it down and get it into the zone. Tiller gets the puck back for the Colts, getting it to Chromiak. Edgar now up ahead for Tiller. Cross for Noah Reed. Reed up the wing. Centering pass for Edgar. He got past Emerton but couldn't get the puck, and now back the other way. Maybe a 2-on-1 for the Colts. Hemming has Beaudoin with him. Hemming across for Beaudoin, but he overskated it. 13 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Beaudoin looking to send it to the net. That was blocked. Hemming able to get the puck back. Emil Hemming up to the blue line. Flips it to Von Richter. Parker Von Richter waiting. Over to Elias, and we're back 5-on-5. His shot stopped by Robertson. Rebound down in the corner. Beaudoin and Edgar tied up. Hemming looking to get it back. Puck is loose. Goes down low, up the boards now for Noah Reed. He'll take the hit from Sapeski, who gets the puck back. Sapeski pushing it down low behind the net of Robertson. IceDogs able to get it. Wang avoids the hit, plays it forward. Noah Reed gets it out to the neutral zone where Barrie's going to get the puck back. Elias and the Von Richter now ahead. Hemming into the zone. He'll wait up. Comes to the middle, backhands it down low. Beaudoin behind the net. Centering pass. That hit off of Patterson and nearly went in the net. Sapeski looking to center. Couldn't get it. He'll spin back on Patterson. Down low, centering pass. Here's Desiderio again, but couldn't keep it on his stick. Niagara again letting the Colts get to the net here. Sloppy start has continued. Robertson around the boards. Wang can't clear. Edgar will take the hit, play it down behind the net. Desiderio ties up Tiller. Low looking to get it back off Patterson. The former Barrie Colt will spin it back, getting it to another former Barrie Colt and Tiller. And he'll flip it through the middle. It gets past Edgar, out back the other way. Hall to the middle, intercepted. Eamon Edgar canning it forward past the IceDogs defense and down behind the net. Robertson comes out. He's going to play it up the boards for Smith. Smith will take the hit from Patterson. Puck up in the air. Desiderio knocks it down, keeps it in the zone. Edgar off the boards. Barrie's forwards looking for a change, and that's going to allow Niagara to calm it down and reset. 10.5 minutes to go in the first period. Chromiak across for Liam Spencer. The IceDogs looking to get anything going right now. That's deflected by Monks into the defensive zone of the Colts. Eliason turned over, centering pass. Here's Monks, spins and shoots, stopped by Hrebeck. Rebound chance for Gallianov, couldn't get it on his stick. And the Colts will go back the other way. Salandra looking for Wilmot, knocked down by Chromiak. And the Colts get it back. Emerton fanned on it in his own zone. Eliason back to Emerton. Getting it up ahead, Gardner. He finds Salandra, knocked it past Spencer. Here comes Gardner, maybe a 2-on-1. Centering pass for Wilmot. Knocked it down with a skate, but couldn't get it on his stick again. And then Salandra hit on Hage at the blue line. Colts get it back. Wilmot looking to center. That was blocked off by Monks. Monks up ahead for Edgar. Was able to get it out of the zone. Emerton gets it back for the Colts, and he'll skate it forward. Emerton into the zone. Takes the shot. That goes over top of Robertson. Rebound McCormick. Knocks Doherty. There, puck remains in play. Spencer, cross for Noft. Judd Noft up the wing, flipping it in past Von Richter. Down the corner, Hanser up ahead for Schneid. He takes the hit. Barnes a shot blocked. Noft a chance, save made by Hrebeck. Doherty to the point. Elche had an open lane, but Schneid got in front of that one. Hanser doing battle out front with Noft as the puck goes to the corner. Noft with the hit on Von Richter, looking to get the puck free as well as Doherty. Puck knocked around a couple times. Noft hit off the puck by Von Richter. Schneid will take it back. Hanser's broken stick from his last shift is still out there. Is now Schneid and Smith tied up in the other zone as McCormick brings it in. Those two still going at it in the corner. Play on, though, in the Niagara end. Smith lost his stick. It's tied up with the official. Back the other way comes Patterson. Patterson couldn't get around Von Richter. He's knocked off the puck. And once again, Barrie will take the puck back. Shots on goal, 8-3 for the Colts right now. 8:30 to go in the first period. Schneid down behind the net. Chromiak backhanded up the boards. Hemming keeps it in. Centering pass. Aitchison waits, goes across. Beaudoin's open, and he scores. Second of the period for Cole Beaudoin, and the Colts continue to add on. They now lead by a score of 5-0, and we still have 8 minutes to go in the first period.
Well, when you're hot, you're hot. And that's what's exactly happening right now for this Barrie Colts team. They're just making their way into the offensive end. And again, some great passing. Keyshawn Aitchison able to find Cole Beaudoin, who came off the bench, and he just trails in untouched. And he's able to put that one top shelf. So this Barrie Colts team just letting the clock run. We're not getting a lot of whistles here and not facing a lot of pushback from the IceDogs. Wraith Smith tried to get William Schneid to bite on a fight behind the play, but outside of that, it's just been all Barrie.
Second of the period, fourth of the playoffs for Cole Baudouin. The first line now has 3 straight goals. It's 5-0. As well to note, did notice Ben Reisnecker heading down the tunnel alongside the trainer just a moment ago. So Reisnecker out the first 2 games with an injury, comes back, fights in 2 straight games, and now down the tunnel with an injury. We'll have to see if he returns. 5-0 for Barrie. 8 minutes to go in the first period. Hemming spins back, gives to Passmore. He steps up. Pass Gallianoff to the net, blocked, back to the point. Emerton, a shot save made. Another chance, Baudouin. Zabeski now out front, keeps it on his stick, goes down behind the net. Pinned to the boards by Tiller. Baudouin waits, centers it. Hemming one-timer, but he fanned on that one. Chromiak up ahead for Hall, and again, IceDogs unable to get it out of the zone. Hemming knocks it back down low. Barrie will retreat as they want to change. And once again, Niagara will calm things down. Grayson Tiller waits, gets it to Liam Spencer. Played forward, looking for the stretch pass. Knopf got a touch on it as it goes into the Barrie end. Eliasson trying to get around Edgar. He sends him into the boards. Throws up the wing. Here's Knopf, down low for Spencer. That's broken up. Centering pass, save made by Horevic. Rebound Wilmot, getting it ahead for Gardner. Back the other way comes Barrie. Gardner into the zone, trying to get it to the middle. Blocked by Spencer. Edgar able to get it back. He goes to the middle for Hage. Knocks it into the Barrie end. 5-0 for the Colts. 6:48 to go. Salandra sent in, played down low behind the net. Robertson gets a touch on it. It'll come up the wing. Gardner able to keep it in. Sent down low into the corner. Govero will chase after Wang. Wang sends it out, takes the hit from Govero. Puck knocked back down the other way. Von Richter around the boards. McCormick couldn't turn it up, couldn't get it out. Hanser looking for Von Richter. That missed, and Doherty's able to get it back. Centering pass. Gets past Hayden Reed. Goes to the point for Barnes. Barnes a shot blocked by McCormick. McCormick now gets it on his stick. He'll skate it back the other way. Coming through the middle. Works to the outside. Tried to send it down low. Goes wide of Robertson. Barnes flips it back out the other way. That's going to go down the length of the ice. And that's going to be an icing. With exactly 6 minutes to go. And it kind of feels like for Niagara, even when they get the puck back from the Barrie Colts, when the Colts are working in the offensive zone, they just can't find a way to get it out. They get it to the blue line, but after that, nothing.
And it just seems as though for the Barrie Colts, they can, skate freely, get around wherever they want. Whereas Niagara, as soon as they get that puck, it almost looks like they're skating in sand. They can't get really much anything going. But for Barnes, just a moment ago, trying to get Jonah McCormick going, slashed him in the feet a couple of times, but McCormick's not biting, and at this point, with them up 5-0, Barrie Colts really don't need to play that style anymore and just, hold on to this lead.
And don't let the IceDogs bait them into anything. Obviously, kind of similar to that fight between Emerton and Smith the other night. You see Smith all over him, you're going to come over, but no one goes over that line and tries to start anything and risk a suspension or injury. Passmore across for Aitchison up the wing, sent into the zone. Patterson tried to make a hit. That didn't work out. Smith, he's dumped from Passmore. Broken stick now for Patterson. This puck comes back to the point, gets past Schneid, goes back out the other way. So that'll allow Patterson to get a new stick. Actually, he's just going to head off on a line change. Aitchison, now we got a fight. Passmore and Smith are going to go at it in the neutral zone. Second fight of the period. These two tied up. Smith shots to the midsection. Passmore gets a shot to the face of Smith. Just going to keep going after that midsection of Passmore, as that's all he's given him. Passmore trying to get that forearm over top. Two of them remain tied up. Smith keeps going for the midsection. They'll spin around. Still locked together. Passmore nearly able to get that right free. Smith looking for an uppercut. That didn't connect. And now the official will get involved. Saw Passmore with that big hit a couple seconds before. Ray Smith gets him the fight. And I think Dylan Smoskowitz and the Barrie Colts will be okay with that fight. Didn't look like Passmore took too many blows there.
No, it was actually Passmore looked like he was smiling the whole time. He had that left arm stretched out, and Wraith Smith couldn't get anything going. He kept trying to throw that right, but for Evan Passmore, he's got that great reach. He's got the size, so you have to give him the edge on that tilt. But Wraith Smith, there's been a couple of times there that he's been trying to get somebody to bite. He tried to get William Schneid a couple of shifts ago, but this time gets Evan Passmore, who, of course, threw that big hit. But for Niagara, just trying to get some sort of spark. And I saw in the comments, Richard was even mentioning just to the play of the Barrie Colts, their passes have been so crisp. They're tape to tape. They're able to skate it out so smoothly. And you have to give credit just to the play of the Barrie Colts here tonight, as it's been on point. And if they can keep this up, even Dylan Smoskowitz mentioned that in the coaches show, that he felt the game could have been much different in game number 3 if they didn't let up after the first period. And I almost wonder if that message has been told here to the Colts, because typically in the regular season, we've seen them get leads, then they start to hold off. This is something we haven't really seen much of, where they continue to put pressure after goal after goal.
Well, that's the thing is, you look back like a game against Brampton in January. Yeah, you're, sportsmanship and trying to avoid any rough stuff coming back your other way. But in the playoffs, you take no risks and you just keep going. Crazier things have happened. There's still 45 and a half minutes to play. So that's plenty of time for Niagara to chip away at this lead if you just let them come back in the game. Emerton with possession. He'll spin back. No instigators once again on this fight. This puck goes back the other way, comes to the middle. Schneid knocks it around Spencer. William Schneid down low, takes the shot, save made by Robertson. Rebound Chromiak. He'll wait, playing it off the boards to Spencer, and he'll flip it back out the other way. Gabriel Eliasson up ahead, Desiderio. That hit Wang just after Chromiak came off. IceDogs came close to too many men there. Low with hit against Spencer. He kicks it out of the zone. Baudouin's going to get it back for the Colts. Eliasson up ahead, Hemming to the middle. Here comes Baudouin, looking for that trick that goes wide of Yermolenko, or Robertson. Back the other way, Eliasson lost it to Hall. Here comes Chase Hall, the former Firebird, looking to get through, but Vaughn Richter breaks that one up. Sebeski for Baudouin, knocked out the other way, and here goes Emil Hemming. A goal and a pair of assists already for Hemming. Keeps it on his stick, centering pass. Here's Sebeski, save made by Robertson. Rebound Baudouin, pucks up in the air, came loose out in front, and comes free to the corner. Sebeski and Edgar tied up there. Hands are centering pass, Baudouin off the side of the post. Wang. Hands are all over him. Not often you see him that low in the offensive zone, but hands are going at it. Barnes brings it back around the other way, flipping it down the ice. Icing indicated, and it will be with 4:01 remaining in the first period. Once again, that Colts top line all over the IceDogs, trying to add to their lead.
Well, they list the shots right now as 10-3, but I think they're going to have to add a couple after a couple of great chances. Both Baudouin and Mason Sebeski had good looks there on Charlie Robertson, but Robertson able to make those saves. The Colts just continue to put it on net from any angle, and give credit to Robertson coming in relief. He's had to make a couple of big saves here to try and stop the bleeding.
That's 5-0. Yermolenko allowed the first 3 on the first 6 shots. Robertson's allowed 2 more on 4. Here's Wilmot down low. Aitchison centering pass for Gardner, but that one just missed. Emerton to Aitchison. Put down behind the net. Salandra coming around. Barnes is there. Centering pass. Aitchison again. Aitchison drops it back. Emerton. Aitchison again. Stepping up. Centering pass for Gardner. That's deflected up in the air by Noah Reed. Gardner's going to get it back. Fights off the cross check. Backhands it down to Wilmot. Wilmot tied up by Noah Reed. He's able to put it down low. Salandra, centering pass. Here's Emerton. Waits, fake the pass. Now sends it down low to Gardner. Turned over. Colts get it back. Wilmot to Aitchison. He's open again. Aitchison tried to center, but fanned on that one. Wilmot keeps it in, playing it down behind the net. Salandra has Aitchison out front. Gets it to him. Aitchison kicks it loose. Waits, spins it back looking for Gardner, but that missed. Hayden Reed gets around Vaughn Richter, going back the other way, has Doherty with him. Reed a shot, save for Epic. Rebound, Gallianov scored! Ivan Gallianov, now he's going to go after Goldfro as the two of them collided. The IceDogs are on the board. Gallianov's got to be careful there. Couple opportunities for the Colts that they weren't able to capitalize on. IceDogs come right back, and it's a 5-1 game.
Well, the Niagara IceDogs finally got the puck to go to the net, and for Ivan Gallianov, pounces on the rebound after Ben Horevic made the first save. It was a good rush down the wing, but Gallianov, untouched, he's able to tuck it around the left pad of Horevic, and makes it a 5-1 hockey game. And Galyanov, he's been a player that's been all over the ice this series, and it's been remarkable. This is just his first point. And then after the goal, he bumps into Luke Govro, and, well, Galyanov wanted to drop the gloves with him, and we'll see if there's going to be a couple of penalties out of this. Looks like Govro and Galyanov are both heading off, so back to 4-on-4.
Galyanov not happy, but from my perspective at least, it just kind of looked like Govro was coming around the net, and it was a coincidental incident there, and then Galyanov goes after him. For Ivan Galyanov, first goal, first point of the series. It's been a tough year for Galyanov, coming off a season with 11 goals last year, balled it up with only 4 this season in 60 games. So trying to get going here in the playoffs. It's a guy with a lot of fight in his game. We talked about Crombie and Newton having a lot of heart and soul in their game. Ivan Galyanov's one of those guys for the IceDogs. Second time going 4-on-4 tonight. 6 goals, 2 fights, 2 4-on-4s, a goalie pull, and a timeout. What a start to this one. Jakub Kromiak across, and 2 play-by-play guys.
There
Tiller,
you go.
Kromiak one-timer blocked by Schneid. Here's Edgar. IceDogs crowd getting going, hoping to trying to get back in this game. Here comes Edgar, stepping up, sending it to the net. That's blocked by Hrebeck. Kromiak turned over. Here goes Schneid back the other way. Trying to get to the middle. Here goes Hanser. Has Eamon Edgar with him. They come in offside. Barrie may have been able to turn that into an odd man rush, but kind of feels like for the IceDogs, if you're able to potentially get another goal here, down by 3, that's a pretty bad spot, but that's not only doable, but you can reason with, hey, we were down 5, and now we're only down by 3.
And they've got so much time left to go in this hockey game. So for the Niagara IceDogs, you got one here with Ivan Galyanov. Now you need to try and build off of that momentum. With the 4-on-4, a lot of ice out there, so they need to really start to limit Barrie's free movement through the neutral zone.
IceDogs with the puck, 2:18 remaining in the first period. Barnes up ahead, Hayden Reed. We're going to go back the other way. Gets it around Hemming, putting it down behind the net. Emerton there first for the Colts. Plays it forward for Baudouin, trying to knock it back out the other way, but turned over. Noah Reed for Wang. That got past him, goes down behind the net. Eliasson sends him into the boards. The two of them go at it, both pretty big. And now Emil Hemming back the other way. Knocks it into the zone, getting it down behind the net. Hemming off the pass from Baudouin. Gets it to Emerton. Tried to put it out front for Baudouin. That was blocked by Noah Reed. Reed looking to go back the other way. 40 seconds left in the 4-on-4. He plays it past Eliasson into the Colts end. Hrebeck is there, giving it to Emerton. Up the wing, coming to the middle and across for Zabeski. Jason Zabeski around Kromiak, trying to drive the net. Couple IceDogs converge there to break that one up. And Ryerson Edgar sends it back out the other way. Him and Zabeski get tied up. That allows Aitchison to get to the puck first. Aitchison just going to drop it back for Hanser. Justin Hanser nearly lost it. Goes up the board. Spencer looking to keep it in. Gardner trying to get it out. Cuts around him. Now we'll send it back out the other way. Here's Aitchison up the wing. Sean Aitchison slowly but surely into the zone. Going to send it to the net. Save made by Robertson. And he'll cover it just as we reach the final minute of the period. And as well, we go back 5-on-5.
Yeah, that save coming just as the 2 penalized players were coming back on the ice. But, for Sean Aitchison, not a bad turnout for him also, as he missed the first 2 games due to suspension and had the game winner in the game Tuesday in game number 3, and seems to be really feeling it. He was pretty, bummed that he missed the first 2 games of the series, but he's really embracing getting back in the lineup.
Aitchison said that he missed playing with his brothers, and you can certainly see it out there on the ice. Talked with Brad Gardner about the impact that Aitchison has on the game before the game. We'll catch up with him in the first intermission. Tiller around the boards for Hao-Shi Wang. Got past him. Von Richter able to keep it in the zone. 40 seconds go. Shot deflected. And that'll go wide of the net. Carter Lowe waits back to the point. Eliasson. Eliasson to Lowe. Stepping up. Looking for the shot. Goes down low. Salandra. Salandra fighting off Wang. Coming up to the point. Wilmot and Tiller tied up out in front. Von Richter over to Eliasson. He'll send a shot wide of the net of Robertson. Rebound Salandra, just gets a touch on it, knocks it to the point. Von Richter, a shot save made again. Had Lowe out front as a screen. Salandra cuts around Wang, still has the puck. Salandra out front, Carter Lowe on the doorstep. Save made by Robertson. He got knocked down in the process. Looks like he's okay. Galyanov just trying to kill clock, and now actually Robertson down. Looks like he's feeling out his one pad. Galyanov taken down, but that's going to do it for the first period. And man, oh man, what a first period we've had here from the Meridian Center. Shots on goal 13-5, and the scoreboard reading 5-1 in favor of the Barrie Colts as Carter Lowe's still out there, and you can see Patrick Sexton on the other side just waving guys over. Don't want to get into anything here. Barrie up by 4, but man, what a start for the Colts. It kind of felt like Niagara just had nothing going right off the start of this game.
Yeah, you could tell that for the Barrie Colts, they had a game plan coming into this one, and they were able to execute it right off the hop. They were getting into the attacking zone, moving the puck at will. Niagara early on, just no physical play whatsoever. No body checks, no stick checks, no nothing. The Colts were able to move it around, and that's why they were able to get 5 unanswered to start off. But we started to see a little more life there from the Niagara IceDogs. Gallianov getting that goal. But even at the end there, he was starting to chirp a little bit there, Carter Lowe, trying to get some momentum. And if there's going to be a player that's going to carry the IceDogs, you got to look at a guy like Ivan Gallianov.
Well, for the Barrie Colts guy that isn't on the board yet today, but does have goals in back-to-back games coming into it, is Brad Gardner. And for Gardner, I mean, he's had a really great season, and it has carried over into the playoffs. Getting that power play goal the other night against the Niagara IceDogs in game number 2, gets a couple assists on the power play the other night. That's one of the things I talked about with him is his versatility, because he was playing on the top unit on Saturday, gets a goal there, comes back. He's on the second unit the other night, and he gets 2 assists.
Yeah, and he ended up leading the team in scoring coming into tonight's game. And, Brad Gardner is always that great guy to chat with. And before when we were coming down here to the game, it was kind of like, okay, who are we going to talk to? And we were going back and forth, maybe Wilmot. But then we were like, no, Gardner, because he's the veteran player on this team, and he's at that steady force. And we even saw that in the first period.
That's the one thing about Brad Gardner is that if you ask him a pretty detailed question that involves like 2 or 3 topics, he touches on every single topic. Like I asked him about Mason Zabeski and Yermolenko and getting into that crease. And he talked about getting into the crease, and then he ties it in to talk about how good of a player Mason Zabeski is, which makes for a pretty long interview, which is a broadcaster's dream, not having to ask many questions and getting a pretty long interview. Richard says he needs a cup of tea after all that. So does Mike Poirier as he tries to rest his voice. So we're going to take a quick break as here's my pregame interview with Brad Gardner.
Joined by Colts forward Brad Gardner. Brad, you guys are coming off a big Game 3 win there. How are you feeling, and how good is it for you guys to really get home ice back right away?
Yeah, I think we felt good. I think there's a few positives that we took out of Game 3. I think, we had a good start. We had our ups and downs. I think just tonight we're focusing on playing a full 60 minutes. And, I think, we still haven't played our best hockey yet. I think we're getting there slowly. But, I think, just keep grinding them down, keep working. And obviously a win tonight would be big, and giving us the opportunity to close it out on home ice on Saturday would be great. So, I think it starts with tonight, not looking too far ahead and just taking it a period at a time.
Obviously getting Kayshawn Aitchison back last game. I mean, even before he scored, did it feel like he was a huge presence for you guys, and just getting him back in the lineup helped this team out?
Yeah, I think it helps a lot. I mean, I think everyone feels comfortable with our full lineup, and I think up and down our lineup, I think, our whole decor, if you're looking at any single one of those guys, there's not one that you're necessarily excited to play against. They all play pretty physical and mean games. So, I think having him back helps a lot. Obviously, who he is and just being a leader in the locker room as well helps. So, I think it's nice to have him back in the lineup. Obviously, he pots a big goal, which we're all happy for him to have done. It was a great shot. So, I think all of us are obviously stoked to have him back, and just keep rolling.
Now, a goal for you, a goal for Ben Wilmot, a goal for Joe Slander as well. I mean, that second line, it felt like you guys had a really strong game.
Yeah, I think we were happy with how we played in the first 2 games, but not necessarily thrilled. So we knew now, and especially later on in later rounds, especially if obviously it gets there, we focus here first. But we're going to need to contribute and take advantage of, their other second, third lines if the first lines kind of cancel each other out on each team. So, we know we're going to have to contribute, and obviously super happy that all of them got on the board, and, me as well. So, I think it's, just building off that and bringing it into tonight.
Now you guys outshot Niagara by a pretty wide margin there in game number 3. Did it feel like you guys, your kind of plan went to success there of holding them to the outside, not letting them get too many chances on Ben Horevic?
Yeah, I think that was a lot. That's obviously how we've tried to play all year, and I think that's when we're playing our best hockey. So I think, we just got to keep doing that, getting shots, keeping it simple, a lot of high pucks in the net, getting traffic in front of this goalie, because obviously he's been playing well this series as well. So, yeah, I think, doing that, blocking shots, trying to make Rebby's life a little easier as well. All those things I think contribute to the success we had on Tuesday, and so it's just building off those.
Obviously, Yermolenko, he's had some run-ins with Zabeski so far this series, took a penalty bumping into Ben Horevic at the end of the second period. How important is it for you guys to get in this crease and try and frustrate him as the game goes on?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think obviously every playoff goal is not going to be pretty. They're going to be garbage kind of rebounds, banging them in at the net. So we're going to have to get into his kitchen as much as we can, and obviously frustrating him. And we got a few guys on our team that get under the opponent's skin quite a bit. So, always playing against Zeb my whole career, familiar with his game, and he's good at what he does. So, that's a huge, penalty that, or penalty that the other team's goalie takes that, Zeb's helps get. And obviously how our power play is clicking right now. You don't want to give us too many opportunities. So, I think that's huge. Obviously, Zebs keeps driving the net, and I'd be frustrated too. So, he's a hard player to play against, and obviously he keeps doing his thing and helping our team out.
Now, you were on the ice for both power play goals in game number 3. Score the power play goal late in game number 2. How important has it been for you being able to kind of shift back and forth between the two units and still finding success?
Yeah, a lot. I think, whatever unit it's on, I think our second unit as well, why we've had so much success is, we're just keeping it pretty simple, getting pucks in the net, all that stuff. So, I think all of us are just fired up, get the opportunity, whether it's the last 30 seconds, whatever it is. We know that we got to, make it count with the time we have. And, I think, all of us just want to see the puck go in the back of the net. We don't care who it is. So, I think it's exciting and obviously pretty easy to play with either guys on the first or second unit. And they make my life pretty easy. Obviously, I've been in the right place at the right time the last few games. But, I think it's just a matter of, keeping that going. And special teams are obviously huge in playoffs.
So it's the first intermission here at the Meridian Center in St. Catharines, Ontario. Josh McCann alongside Gene Pereira, who also made the trip. Gene, you've become the resident fill-in for Mike Poirier the last 2 games. You came down here trying to watch a hockey game and ended up doing commentary.
Happy to contribute.
Well, there are 5 other games out of town right now in the OHL, and none have a score like we do tonight, but the Sudbury Wolves trying to stay alive, down 3-0 in that series with the Brantford Bulldogs. They lead 1-0 after the first period. Rowan Henderson getting the opening goal of that one. Ottawa also up 3-0 in their series. They're up 2-1 on the Kingston Frontenacs late in the first period. Kingston getting the third goal of that game to get back into that one. Peterborough North Bay tied at 2 in the series, and it's the Battalion taking a 1-0 lead into the first intermission down at the Peterborough Memorial Center. Lear Mamedovsky opening the scoring. Another big period for Jack Leeson, stopping 12 of 12. Kitchener and Saginaw. Kitchener going for the sweep, and it looks like they're going to get the job done. They're up 3-0 after one, out shooting Saginaw 26-4 in that opening period. Windsor and Guelph trying to stay alive. That series is at 3-0 for Windsor. That series, or the game score, is tied at 2. Just a reminder, the chat is open if anyone wants to add their comments about tonight's game or all the OHL games going on tonight or around the league. So why don't we go with our game tonight? I mean, the Barrie Colts, they came out flying tonight. The Niagara IceDogs did not, and that's a result of one team being ready to go and one team not. 5-1 for the Colts after the first period.
Well, talking to Dylan Smoskowitz after that win the other night with Barrie, he said, look, he goes, Thursday night, we're going to be ready to go again, on Thursday. And I think that you look back in that Tuesday game, they outshot Niagara in that first period 20-3, and it was a dominant effort. And I think they wanted to follow that up again with another good start. And this time, it's the offense that really fills the net. And, look, I mean, that's what you want to do. You don't want to give a team any kind of signs of life. We look, Niagara stuck around in those first 2 games. They came home with an even series, and even in that game 1, down 2-1 in the third period, they had some good chances in those 2 really close games. So, good job by Barrie not to take the foot off the pedal coming in here tonight.
And for the Niagara IceDogs, I mean, down by 4, but obviously still 40 minutes to go. If they can hold the Colts scoreless, and that is a decently big ask with the way Barrie's playing right now, but if they can start shutting Barrie down and just average 2 goals a period the rest of the way, they could get back in this game still.
Well, look, I mean, I think for anybody that's watched Colts games and Niagara games this season, I mean, these 2 teams, they've had big comebacks against each other. You saw earlier in the year, Barrie in the third period, down 5-1, came back and won 6-5. And then Niagara, returned the flick down in Barrie, with a comeback. So, look, I think both these teams are well aware of that, for Barrie. And, look, I mean, anytime you got a team like Niagara, they know, if they lose this one 3-1, they got to go into Barrie. There's still 40 minutes, and any good hockey team's not going to take the foot off the pedal.
Yeah, we thought Niagara would be desperate coming into the game. Didn't look like that in the first period, but should expect them to be pretty desperate going forward here in this series. And looking around the league at some other series, that North Bay Peterborough series just so tight between those 2 teams. Great goaltending back and forth, and that's a pretty cool story in net for the North Bay Battalion. Jack Leeson, he's a 2006 born netminder, and he's playing in his first full season in the OHL. They needed him this year because Mike McIver had not a great start to the year, got injured as well, and Leeson has stepped up in that starter role and become a really good goaltender here in the OHL.
Look, Barrie fans know what it's like to have 2 good goalies, right?
Yep.
All season, and how much it matters. And, whether it's an injury, a suspension, or, anything like that, to have a guy that can fill in and you don't miss a beat, like Barrie has had here with the Jazz. Well, Leeson's been that and more for North Bay as well. So, look, I mean, that series has just been exciting to watch. I mean, Kieran Walton, a story, a couple of big overtime goals, a trade acquisition at the deadline paying off, and there's really not much to be determined. And again, you look at the standings, and whoever comes out of there, whether it be Peterborough or North Bay in that series, I think Brantford's going to have a handful if things continue the way they are in these first rounds, and that's the matchup.
Well, that's the thing is the Brantford Bulldogs, they're up 3-0 on the Sudbury Wolves, but Sudbury's kept it close throughout this series. I mean, they forced overtime in game number 3. Game number 2 was a 1-goal game with an empty netter at the end. And even game 1, I mean, it was 6-2, but Brantford pulled away in the final 10 minutes there.
Yeah, I mean, Sudbury's given a handful. And look, I mean, they got some talent, there. And again, look, come playoffs times, the slate's wiped clean, right? You're 0-0. And, look, this game really changes. It's a lot tighter out there. Things, both teams a lot more physical. It's a different game. And even top teams, they got to be able to battle through that. And, again, I keep emphasizing this, but it's every second night pretty much in the playoffs. And, you got to really need to have some depth up front and depth in your lines, to get through that.
And for the other series going on in the Eastern Conference, Ottawa and Kingston, one that many people kind of expected the Frontenacs to put up a fight in. And The word surprise was used for a little bit, but I don't think surprise can be used anymore with how many people picked the Frontenacs to keep that series close. But for the Ottawa 67s, they've just really shut down the Frontenacs throughout the series and not let that team get much pressure on Ryder Fedorov.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good Ottawa team. I mean, seen them all year and again. And look, Kingston's a young team and they're learning and this valuable experience. And those first couple of games, they were tooth and nail. I mean, especially that game one. Kingston could have easily, won, one of those and be home, be coming home even. But again, Ottawa, David Cameron, he's been just a ton of experience back there. Look, this guy's going to break down everything, right?
Yep.
Behind the bench. He's going to know your team and what makes you tick. And again, this Ottawa team, I mean, a surprise, maybe a year ahead of what everybody expected, but another deep team. They just keep coming at you with different lines. And, they're overwhelming a younger Kingston team right now.
Yeah, they're one of those teams that maybe when you look at the roster, there's not too many guys that scream superstar, but lots of really good pieces. Cooper Foster's had a great season. Thomas Vandenberg has done a good job in his rookie season. Koenish Kogginen on the back end, a really strong defender. And then, of course, you're always in it when you have two good goaltenders, and that's what Ottawa has in Ryder Fedorov and Jaden Nelson.
Fedorov, obviously, we've talked a lot about, but that's an Ottawa team that they're really hard to score against. And when you got a team like Kingston that, is kind of going through a rebuilding phase here, and it's a tough team to face in the first round, they're going to just squeeze you and they're going to make you work for everything you get. But, again, look, I mean, these teams, it's valuable experience for Kingston, even if they don't get through in this round. But, there's no shame. I mean, that Ottawa team's a really good hockey club.
Oh, exactly. And it's kind of similar to maybe North Bay of last year. They were a young group that sneaks into the playoffs, and then they've taken that playoff experience, and now they're playing a pretty good series against the Peterborough Petes this year. Peterborough team, not much playoff experience either. So very interesting series there as we are just about set to get underway here. Second period between the Barrie Colts and the Niagara IceDogs. It is 5-1 right now for the Barrie Colts as the two teams heading back out on to the ice. And for Barrie, obviously, going to be looking for more of the same here this period. They came out, fired off the first 7 shots of the period again. They've get the first 5 goals of the period, but Niagara, Chris Barch probably preaching that final couple minutes of that period looked a bit better, started getting some opportunities. And if they get a few more opportunities, maybe they can get back in the game.
Look, for Niagara, it's just one step at a time. Again, you come out in the second period, you want to have a better period and start working away. You still got 40 minutes. I think for Barrie, the important thing here is don't take the foot off the pedal. Yeah, it was a really strong first period. You want to continue that here. You don't want to give Niagara any signs of life. Like I said, they've done it before. They get a goal or two and you knock that down to 5-3. It's a whole different ballgame.
And obviously Niagara's got those guys that try and get under your skin, Smith, Hayden Reed, even Ivan Galyanov to an extent. So if you're the Colts, you can't be baited into taking any penalties here in the second or third period.
Well, that's most important. Again, you don't want to give them any life. You don't want to let them build any kind of momentum. I mean, Niagara didn't have any kind of sustained pressure in that first period whatsoever. I mean, they spent little time in the Barrie zone. And if you're the Barrie Colts, that's what you want to do again. Be hard, be tough up front. They're able to turn pucks over up front, capitalize, and you want that to continue here. But what you don't want is Niagara spending time in your zone to start working their way back.
You mentioned momentum. Obviously, right now, Niagara looking to build up that momentum, get back in this game. But to an extent as well, if they can play a good 40 minutes here, something to take into Saturday's game against the Barrie Colts as they'll be looking to come back from down 3-1 if they can't get back into this one. 5-1 for the Colts. Cole Baudouin's going to take the draw. He had 2 goals in the opening frame. Emil Hemming to his right had a goal as well. Mason Zabeski to Baudouin's left. Aitchison and Passmore starting as well. And Chris Barch maybe stacking things up a little bit here. Ryerson Edgar is currently centering Riley Patterson and Chase Hall. We've seen Edgar and Patterson both as centers so far in this game, but maybe Patterson shifting over to the wing here as Chris Barch looks to stack up some of his forwards here.
Well, you got to find, I think, obviously even, they need goals, but first and foremost, you want a couple of good shifts and get some pressure on Barrie and start to turn that momentum around a bit.
So we're back underway, 5-1 for the Colts as we get back going. Cole Baudouin with the puck. He's going to flip it forward for Zabeski, getting into the Niagara end, looking to get around Chromiak. He's tied up, and Baudouin sends it wide of the net. Getting it back. Ryerson Edgar for the IceDogs. Plays it forward for Patterson. Cross to Hall. Has some time. Gets it to Edgar. He comes into the zone. Edgar stops up. Centering pass. Patterson just off his stick. Tried to put it out front. That hit off Hrebeck, and the Colts are going to go back the other way. Edgar tried to go after Passmore there as the Colts bring it in. Beaudoin a shot. Stopped by Robertson. Rebound sitting there. Beaudoin stopped again. Puck still loose. Beaudoin jamming away as it's out to Aitchison, who scores, but they're going to say no goal. Beaudoin still jamming away. That's going to cause some chaos. Hemming grabbing Gallianoff. Everyone tied up. All 10 players out there grabbing someone as Zabeski going down to the ground with Patterson now. Beaudoin giving shots to Chase Hall. This is just what we talked about. Got to be careful. Not take any undisciplined penalties here. Sorry, Zabeski was actually tied up with Barnes. Aitchison and Reed still together.
Cole Beaudoin was parked in the crease in that one, and that's what started all of it. Aitchison kind of spun and fired and ends up going to the back of the net. He was immediately called no goal. And we didn't see a lot of this chippiness in the first period, but Niagara showing a bit of life here second, trying to send a message.
Well, Mason Zabeski, he's already in the box. Unsure if anyone else will be coming. Cole Beaudoin's in there right now. Unsure if he's just returning stuff or if he's getting to take a seat, but it looks like he will be sitting down as well. So 2 players in the box for the Colts. Niagara hasn't had anyone come over yet. They are talking at the penalty box right now to try and figure out everything that's going on here. As there was a scrum out in front, and it was Cole Beaudoin jamming away. The officials immediately called no goal, and then all the IceDogs players came over trying to defend their goalie. And then after that, Hemming, Zabeski, Aitchison, and Hanser all came over to get involved as well on the Barrie side. Blake Barnes has came in to take a seat for the IceDogs. Aitchison coming over looking for another explanation, but as of right now, the faceoff is back in the Barrie end, so it looks like the IceDogs may be getting a power play out of this.
Oh, I mean, again, Beaudoin was parked in the crease and that started a whole battle. But the IceDogs, they're going to get the first power play of this contest here.
So Zabeski and Barnes will likely get roughing calls, and then Beaudoin's going to get the extra 2, potentially for goaltender interference. IceDogs to the power play. They are currently operating at 20%, which obviously means the Colts are at 80. Barrie's penalty kill, 8th in the OHL in this postseason. Niagara's power play, 9th in the OHL this postseason. Face off to the right of Ben Hrebeck. Hayden Reed going to take the draw. Patterson, Doherty, Chromiak, and Edgar will join him. Barrie down, penalty killer as well in Beaudoin. Gardner will take the face-off for Barrie. IceDogs able to win it. Chromiak to Patterson. He's going to spin and send it to the net. That's blocked by Von Richter. Aitchison looking to go back the other way, and he's just going to send it down the length of the ice. Robertson will leave it there for Chromiak. Jakob Chromiak slowly but surely brings it forward. Now trying to play it ahead. Gets it to Hayden Reed. Reed through the middle into the zone. Gets around all 4 Colts. Waits. Couldn't get the shot off, though. Nearly a beautiful play there by Hayden Reed. Edgar getting it over to Chromiak. Chromiak cross to Patterson. So that overskated and comes out of the zone. Beaudoin gets 2 minutes for slashing on the play. Then Barnes and Zabeski get 2 for roughing. Lowe lost his stick. He's going to get it back. The puck goes into the corner. Hayden Reed trying to go up the wing. Lowe intercepts. Takes a big hit from Edgar. Puck remains in the zone for now. Aitchison will get it out and pushes it back the other way. Schneid will chase after Chromiak. IceDogs switching up the power play unit. Colts will get 3 fresh penalty killers out there. And Schneid came on a clearing attempt before for Gardner. 50 seconds left in the penalty to Beaudoin. Wang skated through the middle, getting it to the outside for Patterson. He remains out there. Patterson looking for Noah Reed. That was knocked down by Hanser. He gets it ahead to Schneid. The Colts are able to casually clear that one back down the other way. Robertson will leave it for Delelche. 4 new IceDogs out there, but remaining out is Riley Patterson. Liam Spencer is out there as well, so there's 3 defenders out there right now for Niagara as that shot deflected up into the netting. We'll get a whistle.
There's 22 seconds remaining on this Niagara power play. The Colts have done a good job. Just hands are winning a battle along the boards, getting the puck out there, and face off in the Barrie zone. And Colts specialty teams, they've been pretty good here. They're really good in game 3 here in Niagara. Couple of power play goals and that huge penalty kill and that 5-minute major to Crombie.
Well, they were able to take advantage of a couple undisciplined penalties. Gallianoff with an interference call in the offensive zone led to the power play goal by Aitchison, which was the game winner. And then Barrie made it 4-2 off of a penalty by Vladislav Yermolenko, bumping into Ben Hrebeck as he came off the ice. Delelche across for Hage as Baudouin's out of the box. We're back 5-on-5. Puck goes down behind the net. Wang collided with the official. That allowed Barrie to get there in time to tie him up. Gallianoff trying to get it back. Puck knocked down low. Hanser. He's sent into the boards by Hage. IceDogs get it back. Centering pass for Noah Reed, but Baudouin lifted his stick. Back the other way. Salandra getting it across. Hanser into the zone. He's just trying to drop it to Wilmot. Colts able to keep it in. Baudouin for Ben Wilmot. Goal 2 assists in game number 3. Eliasson winds up. That hit low, or McCormick out front. His shot stopped by Robertson. Rebound. Goes to the corner. Wilmot gets it loose to Baudouin. Tried to put it out front. Wang intercepts. And back the other way comes Gallianoff. He made it 5-1. He knocks it down behind the net. Emerton there first for the Colts. Battling off Noft. Emerton spins it back for Eliasson. He's taken down by Noft. Edgar laying a hit on Eliasson as well. Flipped back out the other way by Govro. Tiller tried to send it to the neutral zone. And Baudouin will shift it right back in for the Colts. Govro out there. He lays a hit on Tiller. Paul fights off Edgar. Gets it across. Jakub Kromiak. Kromiak up the wing into the zone. Gets it to Edgar. Centering pass, but that missed Noft. Goes to the corner. Noft will take the hit from a pair of Colts. That's McCormick and Govro. Then Eliasson takes down Hall. No call on that one. Emerton for McCormick. He gets it out of the zone. Slapped right back in by Tiller. IceDogs will chase after it. Hrebeck leaves it for Eliasson. Gets past Monks, plays it up the boards. Govro looking for Desiderio. That hit off the official, goes down to the corner. Desiderio gets the inside edge on Tiller. He's first to the puck. Taken down into the corner. Niagara going to slow it down. Ryerson Edgar cuts through the middle, getting past low. He'll flip it across. Kromiak tried to go to the middle. That hit off the boards, goes back to Von Richter. Cross to Aitchison, looking to flip it ahead for low. Knocked down by Delelche. Now Schneid chasing after it. Hayden Reed able to get there first. Kromiak back to Reed. Going to Monks. He's able to knock it out of the zone. Doherty trying to get it back. Puck up in the air. Kicks around. Delelche plays it forward to Doherty. Gets to the red line. Sends it into the Barrie end. Aitchison able to get it back. Chased by Monks. He backhands it around the boards. Desiderio collides with Wang. As the puck comes back out the other way. 5 minutes gone by in the second period. IceDogs had a power play, weren't able to capitalize. They have the puck now. Delelche into the zone for Patterson. Riley Patterson up the wing, collides with McCormick. He takes a hard hit there. Back the other way, McCormick looking for Bodo, and that misses, goes on net. Robertson tries to play it. Barrie's going to get the puck back. Hemming sent into the boards by Patterson. Up the wing, Noah Reed trying to get it out. Hemming on him, but a nice pass to Patterson, who's alone back the other way. Patterson past the defense, in all alone, stopped by Hrebeck. Big save there by the Colts netminder to keep it at 5-1. Baudouin took a high stick there from Reed. Centering pass. Kromiak waits, shoots. Save made by Hrebeck. Baudouin still down in the corner. Hanser sending it back the other way. Hemming's going to beat out the icing as Baudouin heads off the ice. Emil Hemming up the wing. Dropping it back down low for Wilmot. Played around the boards, getting it to Gardner. Centering pass, looking for Wilmot knocked down. Hanser will step up. Gets it down low, past Smith. Centers for Gardner, that missed. And back the other way comes Niagara. Baudouin still on the bench now, getting attended to by the trainer. Smith there first for Niagara behind the net. Battle for it against the boards. Gallianoff tied up by Passmore. Smith trying to knock it free, he will. Hanser quickly converges on him, sends him right back into the boards. 3 IceDogs, 3 Colts there, and it's Hage coming free with the puck. Down low, Gallianoff. Tried to lay the hit, that didn't work. Then a big hit there by Spencer on Gardner, and then Smith comes after him as well. That gets some life into the IceDog crowd again. Passmore will knock Smith around. Wilmot flips it back around, looking to get it to Hanser. Kromiak there first. Centering pass for Hall. He got a touch on it, but the puck comes around to Passmore. He's able to flip it back out the other way. Got past Rebick, comes around, Passmore. Getting it to the middle, Gardner. Escape back the other way. Some confusion there on the Colts bench as they tried to get off. Killer up ahead for Hall. Knocked it into the zone. Once knocked around, Govro with a hit. Salandra with the puck. He's taken down. Penalty coming to Niagara. Here comes Edgar through the middle, looking for the shot. That's broken up. And then Noft will go after Govro, looking to try and draw a penalty there. Doesn't look like he's going to get it. The Barrie Colts are going to their first power play of the night.
Well, you go back a bit and play there. And what a stop by Ben Rebick on the Riley Patterson breakaway. I mean, getting out that left pad and veteran netminder. I mean, that's just a difference maker. Ben Rebick has done that all season. And what a big time stop. Yeah, it's a 5-1 hockey game, but the IceDogs score there. They get some life. It's 5-2. They cut the lead down to 3, and all of a sudden things start looking a little bit different. But you get your netminder, comes up with a big stop. Now a chance on a power play here to really kind of just dig that hole a little deeper for Niagara here.
Well, like we mentioned in the intermission, IceDogs looking for momentum. That goal definitely would have given them some, but Rebick with the big save. Colts power play going to work for the first time tonight. They're 5 for 10 in the series, 4th in the OHL. IceDogs penalty kill 13th in the OHL. Obviously, they're also 5 for 10. Just a reminder, this power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. As the Colts not switching up the power play units today, Carter Lowe and Cole Emerton will remain with the top unit, joined by Baudouin, who's back out on the ice, along with Hemming and Aitchison.
Again, this is really, you want to keep the foot down on the pedal. I mean, an opportunity to dig that hole a bit deeper. You want to take advantage of it.
Gallianoff able to win the draw. Spencer around the boards for Smith. Knocked loose by Hemming. Baudouin kicks it forward, looking for Lowe, intercepted. Spencer will slow it down and sends it back out the other way. Rebick out of his net. He'll leave it for Emerton. Cole Emerton waits, drops it back. Baudouin. They'll bring it forward, getting it across Hemming into the zone over to Aitchison. Keishon Aitchison up the wing, centering pass. Lowe's all alone, down low. Baudouin waits, shoots off the side of the post. Rebound, Chromiak looking to clear, and he sends it perfectly back down the other way. Baudouin was able to settle that one down. Looked like he potentially had an open net. Wasn't able to get it there, and we remain at 5-1. Minute 17 left in the power play. Emerton dropping it back. Baudouin up the wing into the Niagara end. Carter Lowe knocks it down behind the net. Baudouin tried to play it around. Intercepted by Wang. Comes up the boards. Emerton able to keep it in. Puck goes down low. Baudouin. He'll spin it around. Aitchison there first for the Colts. Tied up by Smith. Lowe knocks it down low. Baudouin still with possession. Taken down. Puck comes out to the point. And it'll come out of the zone. Colts will switch up the power play unit. 49 seconds left. Emerton leaves it for Aitchison and will head off on a change. So here goes Aitchison. The wing, getting it into the zone. No Calvin Crombie, obviously, for the Colts, so William Schneid joins the second unit. Von Richter to Aitchison. Back to the point. Von Richter. Over to Gardner. Back to Von Richter. Over. Aitchison. Looking for the one-timer. Faked it. Wilmot. Center for Gardner. Scores! Goals in 3 straight for Brad Gardner. And the Colts have extended the lead 6-1 with 11 minutes to go in the second period.
What great passing. Tic-tac-toe. And Charlie Robinson, before he could even kind of break over. I mean, that thing was in the back of the net. Gardner just hammered that thing on the pass across from Ben Wilmot. But I mean, again, talking to Dylan Smoskowitz, he says this power play, both units, and he goes, it's so nice to have 2 units they have a lot of confidence in, and it makes it harder for teams to kind of plan for that. He said, all of a sudden, instead of worrying about 5 power play players, you're worrying about 10. You're worrying about a full 2 units, and what a great passing play by the Barrie Colts. Great puck movement, quick puck movement, and just like that, Wilmot to Gardner, that thing was just hammered into the top of the net.
Well, we heard from Brad Gardner at first intermission about the impact that both power play units have had on the Barrie Colts this season. Goals in 3 straight, his 3rd of the postseason, has the Colts up 6-1. Barrie looking for more. Schneid into the zone as Salandra driving net, knocked off the puck. Here comes Zabeski, scores! Jason Zabeski's on the board in this series, his first of the postseason. And the Barrie Colts have extended the lead again. It's 7-1.
No, you just keep building that momentum. You get the big power play goal here. You lengthen the lead. You don't take the foot off the pedal. That's what the Colts have done. Right from the drop of this puck, they've come hard. And I get a big power play goal here to start the second, and Zabeski immediately follows that up. Just 28 seconds after the power play marker, Zabeski buries it. The Colts in total control here, 7-1 now, nearing the halfway mark of this second period.
And now Riley Patterson has gone down the tunnel for the IceDogs. Just the last thing they need. Already down Zada and Robrick. They'll get back Zada for game number 5. But now 2 players leaving tonight's game with injuries, Reisnecker and Patterson. And the Barrie Colts, they lead 7-1. Hanser looking to play it ahead. That's knocked back into the Barrie end. Passmore, hit by Gallianoff. Niagara trying to get physical here. Up the boards, Desiderio. He'll take a hit from a pair of Niagara players. Spencer nearly lost it. Damon Edgar back the other way. Smith blocked by McCormick. Edgar going to flip it in on net. Robertson will make the save, and he will cover it. And then Desiderio coming to the front of the net. He'll take a couple shots from the IceDog players. And cooler heads will prevail, but obviously 2 goals, 28 seconds apart. Niagara pretty frustrated as they're now down by 6.
If you're Barrie, you want to stay away from this. And Niagara, well, physical shift. Look, I mean, that's what you do. You don't quit. And, a guy like Gallianoff, I mean, Josh, I remember last season, got knocked out in a hit by Aitchison. But again, I mean, this guy is just a battler. He was crying after the series, after Niagara got eliminated, wasn't able to come back into that series. And just a heart and soul guy comes out the next shift. You're down 7-1. He's out there working like it's 1-1, and that's what you want to see.
Well, we've talked about those heart and soul guys in the first period. Crombie and Newton on the Colts side, and Gallianoff, one of those guys for Niagara. Baudouin down behind the net. Hemming over to Zabeski. Knocked off the puck. Baudouin gets it back. Out to the point. Emerton to Hemming. He'll shoot. Scores. Another one for Barrie. Emil Hemming just flips it over top of Charlie Robertson. His second of the night. And the Barrie Colts, they're not even going to go to the bench and celebrate. They're just going to head back to center ice as they have extended the lead once again.
Well, I mean, this top line, they've been so good. I mean, all the Barrie Colts obviously have in this game 4 here, but complete control and just keeping the foot on the pedal. Hemming, just a quick release there, beats Charlie Robertson. And all of a sudden, this rink is really quiet. The Barrie Colts keeping the foot down on the pedal here in this second period.
3 more goals for Barrie in the last 3 minutes. As the life has been sucked out of the Meridian Center once again. Puck comes out to the point, gets past Emerton, goes back down the other way. Goes across to Eliasson. The Flint Firebirds did hit double digits twice this series. We'll see if it gets that ugly here tonight. For this postseason, not this series. Aitchison to Salandra. Flip down low, Gardner. Gardner knocking it back to the point, gets past Passmore. Goes back down the other way. Colts will reset. Passmore. Playing it forward, getting around Hall, backhanded ahead into the Niagara end. Robertson will leave it there for Del Elche. Around the boards and out back the other way. Shot on net, save made by Robertson. Riley Patterson just grabbed his stick. He's back on the IceDogs bench. Obviously something bothering him down by 7. Got to wonder how much we'll see of him the rest of the game. Puck knocked into the zone by Gallianoff. Goes down behind the net. Aitchison puts it up through the middle, and back the other way comes Desiderio. Off the boards, gets around Spencer. Down behind the net, Robertson. He'll play it around the boards, out back the other way. Von Richter was coming on the ice just as the puck came to him. Flips it back ahead. Chromiak. Around the boards, Von Richter gets there first for Barrie. He's just going to flip it ahead over top of the IceDog players and back out to the neutral zone. Spencer to Chromiak. Getting it forward, Noah Reed. Gets to the blue line, into the zone. Reed trying to get around Hanser. He's tied up and sent into the boards. Ray Smith back to the point. Chromiak sent across. Spencer a shot. Glove save by Hrebeck. And now a couple hits there by Von Richter on Edgar. As we go at it again out front of the net. Desiderio and Edgar exchanging cross checks. Graves Smith involved as well.
Again for Barrie, talking to Dylan Smoskowitz after that Game 3 win here against Niagara. And he said, look, we want to come back and forget it. He kind of said, we want to come back and break hearts. I mean, that keep the foot on the pedal and don't give them any opportunity. I mean, you go back to the first 2 games of this series, Niagara was right there. I mean, again, they won the one game in overtime, and even game 1, it was a 2-1 hockey game in the third period. They had a couple of chances to tie it. But an impressive showing here on the road as the Colts looking to take command of this series.
Wang with a one-timer that was blocked. Puck goes back out the other way. Barnes up ahead. Penalty coming to the Colts. Zemerton touches up. So we're going to get a penalty here. And Luke Govero heading back to the box, and the IceDogs are going to get a power play.
It's going to be a high sticking call here. Ball 36 mark. One, I mean, a rejection on the Niagara. But I mean, look, I mean, you're down 8-1. I mean, the series is far from over. Again, it's obviously, it's a big difference here, but they played well on the road here, and there's a high sticking call here, and it's going to be a 4-minute. No, the Colts.
And despite the 4 minutes on the board, Chris Barch still not happy. He was not a fan of what Govero did there. He's looking for a 5. Not going to get it. Niagara's got 6 guys out there. Someone's got to come off. They're checking Wang, and now he's going to have to come back off because he got hit with the high stick. So 7:24 to go. The IceDogs can get 1, maybe 2 goals here. Off the face-off. Patterson, shot, score! Riley Patterson back out there. After an injury early in the period, he's on the board again. Goals in 3 straight for him as well, and it's 8-2.
Again, you get the draw, you win it. You take control, get it right back, and Patterson, top shelf. Corner from the blue line, and this guy is just a true sniper, and he walks in right out to the top of that circle. Just a quick snapshot. There's a bit of traffic in front. Beats Hrebeck. That's a way to start a power play. Just 4 seconds into that man advantage.
So there will still be 2 minutes on it for Luke Govero because of it being a double minor. For Patterson, his 3rd of the postseason, has made it an 8-2 game. For the IceDogs, 2 goals on 9 shots this game, 2 on 18 last game. So when they get their opportunities, they're able to convert, but haven't had too many opportunities the last couple of games, and that's what's cost them. 2 more minutes on the power play here. Von Richter flips it back the other way, knocked down by Chromiak, pushed free by Hemming. He's got a breakaway. Emil Hemming, and a nice glove save there by Robertson. He's going to play it. Hayden Reed to Chromiak. Back to Reed, back to Chromiak again. He's going to slowly skate it forward. Chromiak up ahead. Hayden Reed into the zone. Spins back, now sends it down low. Doherty getting involved, pushing it back to the point. Chromiak over to Patterson. Keeps it in the zone, steps up, down low Doherty. Back to Patterson. Nearly lost it. Hemming broke his stick. He's got to head off. 5-on-3 for right now. Aitchison blocks it. It's up in the air. No one knows where it is, but Patterson does. He gets the puck back. Patterson. He'll shoot. Scores again. Back-to-back for Riley Patterson. Maybe a bit of new life for the IceDogs as it's now 8-3 off back-to-back power play goals.
Riley Patterson again. You just talk about this guy's a pure sniper. From his days in Barrie, just kind of walks in, turns. got plenty of time. And just kind of from the top of the circle again, that quick snapper up and over Benarebic. What a shot, what a finish. And 2 power play goals by the IceDogs brings them back within 5.
Couple real nice shots from Patterson there. His 4th of the postseason, following up on a 40-goal regular season campaign. It's 8-3 with 6:20 to go. Rebick around the boards. Hage able to keep it in. Put down behind the net. Hall tied up. Gallianoff there as well. Anzer gets it back. Hall and Passmore tied up together still as the puck's going to come back out the other way. Gardner flipping it in past Wang. Down low. Gardner with the hit. Wilmot trying to get it back. He's able to knock it loose. Salandra taken down by Hage, and then a hit from there by Wang on Wilmot. Back to the point. Passmore's shot stopped by Robertson. Balfour. Gardner gets it back, but that's blocked. Gardner down low for Wilmot. He's tied up by Tiller in the corner. Colts changing on the fly here as Schneid and Eliasson hit the ice. Knocked loose. Schneid back to Eliasson on the point. Big man plays it across Hanser. Over to Schneid. He'll step up. He'll shoot over top of the net of Robertson. No one there for the rebound as Wilmot and Salandra were heading off the ice. Niagara flips it back out the other way. Eliasson for Schneid. Getting it to Carter Lowe. Back to the middle. Here's Schneid looking for the shot broken up, and then he gets a hit there. Emerton played down behind the net. Desiderio. He has a goal tonight. Comes around Schneid to the point. Eliasson looking for a one-timer blocked by Reed. Both Schneid and Desiderio go down. Then Lowe sent Harden to the boards by Wang as well. Tiller back around the other way. That's going to go down the length of the ice. Icing is indicated, and it will have enough as we'll get another whistle with 8:3 to go. The IceDogs have gotten 2 power play goals to make it 8-3, and it kind of feels like if you hadn't given up a couple of goals early in the period, maybe the IceDogs are back in this one.
Barrie came out, kept the pedal down in that second period, and Riley Patterson, look, we saw him, in his days in Barrie, and there's a guy that just got a great shot. I mean, both those goals were top of the net. Nicely, Riley Patterson signing with the Vancouver Canucks and ready to start his pro career after this season. And well, a bit of a surprise when he came to Niagara, but it was a move that they had wanted, the Patterson family, and comes to Niagara, and there's certainly no disappointment there. I mean, it was one of their top guns. He certainly delivered for this Niagara team all season.
And that's the thing about Patterson and his time in Barrie is that you saw glimpses of what he has been this year for the Niagara IceDogs, but he was never able to really put it together for a full 68 games plus a playoffs. You think back to that series against Kingston last year, he scores goals in the first 2 games, has 4 points, but then after that, he kind of tails off for a little bit. Then he comes back and gets involved again in game 6, and it was just always about that consistency, and he really found it this year. The IceDogs gave him an opportunity to be their number 1 center, and he took it and ran with it. 40 goals, 44 assists for 84 points to lead the IceDogs in scoring this year. He's added 4 more goals here in the playoffs. 2 tonight. So we get back set to get underway. Cole Baudouin taking the draw off the Colts in the offensive zone. Tiller around the boards for Wang. Played up ahead for Smith. Gets it to the red line. Sent into the zone. Puck goes down behind the net and around. Noah Reed tied up by Eliasson. Here's Emerton. Knocked down. Baudouin pushing it forward. Got around 1. Trying to get into the zone. Baudouin down low. Zabeski. And now Hemming's going to get called for a retaliatory slash there on Liam Spencer. Not what the Colts need to be doing right now in this game. Giving up 2 power play goals and then taking a penalty behind the play as they're trying to create an offensive chance.
Can Hemming take an obsession and get called for the retaliatory penalty? And again, I mean, it's an 8-3 game, but you don't want to give them any signs of life. And now that Niagara power play, and my bet, Josh, is they're going to be looking to get the puck to number 21 there, Riley Patterson.
Well, why? What has he done tonight that would make you think? So, IceDogs power play 2 for 3 on the night. Trying to make it a 4-goal game. Low looking to clear. And the puck will go back down the other way. Chromiak Slows it down. Now going to bring it forward. Getting it across. Ryerson-Edgar up the wing. Into the zone. But offside at the blue line. 1:41 remaining in the power play.
I mean, you don't see a lot of that from often, but you gotta keep those frustrations in check. And look, I mean, there's no doubt that he was not too happy with the Ice Dog player in that battle there. And that's the thing. All of a sudden, everybody kind of looks and the official looks over. Next thing you know, you're retaliating and you're the one who gets the gate.
So face off outside the Barrie end. Mason Sebeski taking the draw against Patterson. IceDogs able to win the draw. Chromiak gets it across. Hayden Reed into the zone for Niagara. Coming down low. Pinned to the boards by Passmore and taken down. Aitchison looking to clear. Chromiak keeps it in. Cross. Patterson. Centering pass broken up. Passmore tried to clear. Didn't get out. Aitchison gets it back and he'll slam it down the other way. 1:20 left in the penalty to Hemming. Robertson once again leaves it for Chromiak. Chromiak, as always, brings it for Patterson. Quick flip. Hayden Reed has some space up the wing. Takes the shot, and the glove save made by Hrebeck. Big one there for the Colts goaltender. Keep this game at 8-3.
Hayden Reed came down the left side, looked over. He had nobody with him, and that quick snapper, but Hrebeck just walks out to the top, right out of the crease there. That went easily into the glove hand.
So we saw this on the first power play when the IceDogs change it up. They keep Riley Patterson out there. Noah Reed on the faceoff. Knocked down low. 3 defense again for Niagara. Noah Reed back to the point. Patterson. Cross for Wang. Steps up. Shoots. Save made by Hrebeck. Puck was loose for a moment. But then he'll cover it up. A bit of a different look here for Niagara on the second unit. Patterson remains out. And as well, Liam Spencer's the extra net front presence, but they keep Wang and Barnes out there, which means 3 defense, 2 forwards.
Seen that a bit from Niagara. Spencer, the big body parked out in front. Nice job there by Hrebeck. Makes the stop and then quickly hauls that one in before anybody gets on it.
It's funny to see the 3D come from Niagara, considering up until the trade deadline, they ran a 5-forward power play. Patterson. Looking for Spencer, knocked up in the air.
Words left.
Back to the point. Wang to Patterson. Steps up. He'll shoot. Blocked and out of play. But like you mentioned, I mean, no Zada, no Robrick. It's going to make it even harder for the IceDogs to try and fight back after the start they had.
Well, Zadis, the loss there. I mean, I thought he was the best player in game 2. And they still found a way to win that one, but that's a guy who logs a lot of important minutes for you, and he's missed these 2 games on home ice.
He was the guy as well trusted with the captaincy after Kevin He was traded, so big leader in that locker room. Big hit on Salandra. Patterson back to the point. Chromiak fakes the one-timer, goes to Patterson. He'll shoot off the bar. Riley Patterson inches away from a hat trick. Him, Beaudoin, and Hemming all on hat trick watch. Edgar into the zone. Gets around Aitchison. Tied up. Sent into the boards. Doherty trying to get it loose. Here's Wilmot. Aitchison knocked the helmet off of Edgar as the puck goes back the other way. Robertson for Chromiak will just slap it down the ice looking to get a touch. Reed hit it. Gets deflected. Kayshawn Aitchison going to go to the box for roughing. Not what the Colts need here. It's going to be 5-on-3 for 8 seconds.
Well, run to the box by Barrie and not doing himself any favors. Just 8 seconds remaining on the Hemming, and then all of a sudden you get those early goals, but now you spent the remainder of this second period killing penalties.
So 2:35 to go in the period. Quick fix of Ben Hrebeck's net here before the IceDogs go back on the power play. 2 for 3 coming into the penalty for Emil Hemming. Now Aitchison in the box. That'll be their 5th attempt. Some reason the penalties got taken off the board, so they'll have to come back up and reset. It's 2:35 to go in the second period. Timeskeeper's having issues. with that clock. They've seemed to have that happen a few times here tonight. Well, looking at the out-of-town scoreboard, Kingston has came back to tie the game at 2 against Ottawa. Brantford Sudbury tied at 1. North Bay up 2-0 on Peterborough. Kitchener up 4-1 on Saginaw. Windsor up 6-2 on Guelph. They've fixed the clock, but the only issue is I think the penalty to Hemming has lost 5 seconds. It was at 8 seconds when they started it. Now we're going to have to do it all over again.
So they get the penalty for Aitchison, finally get that back up, and now they got it down to 3 seconds for Hemming. There's 8 seconds remaining.
And so now the official's going to come in and looks like he's going to do the business himself.
Thursday night gremlins here in this.
Now both penalties are gone again, so we'll probably have to wait another 2 minutes. Oh, man.
Bones in around there. You know, what is he up to? Is he...
Well, we're just happy Bones, and now they're not happy again because now there's 7 seconds on the clock, but Bones is just happy he didn't run into any nets.
I think the Niagara bench is over there going, it's 8 seconds.
March is telling them it's 8 seconds, and at least according to what the clock was when the whistle went, they're right.
It was.
What a mess.
Maybe the gremlin ate that extra second.
It was Malachi.
It's Malachi.
So March is still telling them there's 8 seconds left. Now they're going to go back and add another second. Oh, man. Mike Poirier's voice is going to be fixed by the time we're done here.
He'll be singing by the end of it.
And it's going to stay at 7 seconds.
Oh, it's going to stay at 7.
So after all of that, the clock is still wrong. IceDogs to the power play. Looking for a quick one here. Chromiak, Patterson, over. One-timer, big save by Horevic. Rebound, Edgar. Back to the point, Chromiak. He'll go down low for Hayden Reed. Blocked off by Eliason. Colts will go back out the other way, 3-on-2. Eliason will slow down. Beaudoin, a shot blocked. IceDogs get it back. Chromiak to Patterson, turned over. Beaudoin, a backhander save made. Hayden Reed to Chromiak. Interesting thing on that big save by Horevic is that Hemming had just came out of the box, so there could have been an argument that that goal would have been scored at the 8-second mark. Chromiak, Hayden Reed, back to the point. Chromiak, across, Patterson. 2 goals tonight, both on the power play. Looking for number 3 there, but it's blocked by Von Richter and sent out of play.
Minute 11 still remaining on this Keyshawn Aitchison penalty, and minute 45 remaining in this second period. The Colts in control, 8-3. The IceDogs trying to inch closer. We're going to get China back next game in Barrie. That, of course, Saturday night back at the old Sadlin Arena.
No, that game will be live on Rogers TV. Pregame show at 7 and puck drop at 7:30. Colts will clear it back down the other way. Second unit is out for the IceDogs. Wang with it behind his own net. 57 seconds left in the power play to Aitchison. Wang through the middle. Noah Reed, cross for Patterson. Into the zone. Patterson trying to get around Hanser. He'll drive down low. Patterson bringing it back to the point. Wang, reading, coming to the middle. Gets it across. Barnes. He'll step up. Tried to drop it back. Blocked by Gardner. And he'll send it right back down the other way.
Has Riley Patterson been off the ice in the last 10 or 15 minutes?
I don't think so. I mean, he went down the tunnel for about 3 minutes, and I think he used that as a rest and has been used the rest of the period. Wang into the zone, getting to the middle, looking for the shot. He got taken down. IceDogs want a penalty, not going to get it. Schneid will send it back down the other way. Robertson will leave it there. 10 seconds left in the penalty to Aitchison, so it looks like Barrie's going to survive and kill off back-to-back power plays for the IceDogs and keep this score at 8-3. Puck sent into the zone. Eliason to Schneid. Aitchison's alone back the other way. Here comes Keyshawn Aitchison. Tiller trying to step up. Aitchison spins, trying to get it down low. But Tiller had him tied up. Whistle down. Tiller wants a penalty. Aitchison got a bit aggressive there on him. Sweet a whistle, 27 seconds remain in the second period.
Well, Aitchison there with a Sephardian spinorama. The whole thing that came out of the box. That was perfect timing. Took the pass and then tried to spin around the defender. 27.5 seconds remaining in this period. The Colts fill off those 2 power plays, and this has all been all specialty teams here. Last 3 quarters of this period.
Edgar McCormick Desiderio will come out. Edgar battling with Noft in the neutral zone, flips it back to the Niagara defense. Tiller up ahead, Monks to Noft, and push forward into the Colt end. McCormick fights off the pressure, gets it to Desiderio, and then stick to the face of Noft. And penalty going to come to Barrie again. We thought we were free of the special teams, but we're going right back to it. Jonah McCormick for a high stick, and the IceDogs are going to get their 6th power play of the period.
This whole period has been pretty much one big penalty, and it's going to go off here, which is 4.6 seconds remaining. Well, it's going to come in the Barrie zone. And it looks like Niagara is going to pull the goalie here. Robertson.
Now Robertson to the bench. I mean, might as well. Down by 5, 4 seconds to go in the period. Barrie would have to send the perfect shot with the perfect amount of speed on it to get it down the ice. Niagara doesn't look like they have a clue who's supposed to be out on the ice, but they do eventually get their 6 together. So the earliest we've seen a goalie pull this year. Barrie tried to sneak a change that they're not going to get. Lowe and Gardner trying to go on the ice. Gardner's going to get on. No, now he's not. Colts aren't happy about it. But on a plus side, McCormick's penalty is up. Nothing happened with that. Hayden Reed wins the draw. It comes through the middle. Obviously not enough speed on it. Patterson will kill clock. And that will do it for the second period of play. Aitchison coming after Rafe Smith. So 2 of them exchange words. Von Richter and Bodwin will come back and play sheriff. But for the Barrie Colts,
trying to get in the face of a Rebick there, and Aitchison coming over and, of course, sticking up for his goaltender.
Well, we saw that in game number 1. Rafe Smith with a bump on Ben Horebic, and then a couple of Colts went after him. Almost resulted in a Govro ejection, but luckily cooler heads prevailed on that one. But for the Barrie Colts, 3 more goals this period, giving them a 5-goal lead. They're now up 8-3 on the Niagara IceDogs.
So Barrie, 13 shots in that period. Niagara, despite all those power plays, just 8 shots. I mean, that you saw Barrie's offense explode early in that period, and then it was all basically just a Niagara power play.
Yeah, and for the Barrie Colts, it felt like outside of 2 Riley Patterson shots, they did a good job killing that off. Because, I mean, Riley Patterson, he just got the puck off a couple of faceoffs, and then it took a picture-perfect shot to get it past Ben Horebic.
Yeah, I mean, again, Patterson, you give him that time, and he's got such a great shot, a perfect example of those 2 goals, but the Colts kill off. They got to find a way to stay out of the box here. I mean, look, in a game like this, maybe some of the calls are going to be, they're going to be looking for anything to call you on. I mean, that's just the way it is in hockey. And, Barrie, first and foremost, kill off the rest of this minute 56 here on this McCormick penalty and do what you can, stay out of the third box and just get back. Try to seal this one up and get home.
That's the thing in a 5-goal game. You're going into the third. You got to expect the referees are going to be calling a pretty tight game. Not going to let either side get away with too much. If you're just joining us, Mike Poirier did start the broadcast, but then ended up losing his voice once again. But he didn't lose his voice earlier today when he filmed a video for his YouTube channel, and we're going to give you a little look at that right now.
So apologies for the lack of content recently here on the channel. I've been dealing with a bit of a cold, still recovering from it. The illness has just been going through our household, so hopefully things in your household are going well. Just wanted to use this video kind of as a test, just to get ready for tonight, to prepare for the Colts and the IceDogs. But big shout out to Josh McCann. He did the play-by-play Tuesday night for Game 3 between the Colts and the IceDogs, and he did an amazing job. So thanks again to Josh for filling in. And let's dive into it. The news items that are pretty significant right now for the Ontario Hockey League all starts with the OHL draft lottery. And the 4 teams that were in the lottery were the 4 teams that missed the postseason. So the Oshawa Generals, Erie Otters, Brampton Steelheads, and the Sarnia Sting. They all had weighted odds based on where they finished in the overall standings. And basically, the draft showed the results were basically what we saw at the end of the regular season. So the Oshawa Generals, who finished 20th, ended up with the first overall pick. It's actually the first time they'll have the first overall selection since 2005 when they picked John Tavares. So a big moment here for this Oshawa Generals organization. And of course, they just went to back-to-back OHL finals. They go into a rebuild and now get the first overall pick. So maybe this rebuild will be a little quicker than many had suspected. So a big congratulations to them. And this is just the 3rd time in franchise history that Oshawa has had the first overall pick. So they had John Tavares in 2005, but then you go back to 1977. They picked Tom McCarthy first overall. So it's something that we don't see much of with the Oshawa Generals picking first overall. So a big moment for them. And of course, the draft is going to be held in person at Slush Puppy Place in Kingston. That's going to be June 12th to the 13th. So it's going to be a special time. And we're still trying to figure out who's going to be that first overall pick. So right now, how it looks is Cade O'Rourke. He's a good possibility to be the first overall pick if he is granted exceptional status. And we should find out by the end of the OHL Cup this weekend if he will be granted that exceptional status. He's a defenseman from Texas. So the anticipation is he's been doing really well with the Toronto Junior Canadiens. They were perfect in the round robin. So we'll see if he gets that status. And then the Oshawa Generals, do they go with a defenseman first overall? From what it sounds like, he'll likely be that first overall pick, but there are some other names that could come about after the OHL Cup, because this is usually where a player really stands out and garners some attention. I'm thinking like Pierce Bowie from a few years ago. He had an outstanding OHL Cup and ended up going in the top 10 of the OHL draft. Ethan Belchis recently had a great OHL Cup. He went first overall to the Windsor Spitfires. So this is a big tournament, and we'll have to wait and see how things all play out. I needed a drink of water there just to keep up. My voice is just still coming back, but we'll see if we can finish out this video. Yesterday, the Owen Sound Attack were the first team to be eliminated from the postseason. 4 straight wins by the Flint Firebirds, and it was kind of in a disaster kind of way here for Owen Sound. They were outscored 35-3 in those 4 games. That's a goal differential of plus 32 for the Flint Firebirds. That sets an OHL record, something we haven't seen since the 1998 Peterborough Petes were knocked out by the Belleville Bulls. And that was a plus 25 goal differential. So not a great way to end the regular season for the Owen Sound Attack. I understand there may have been a flu bug going through the team during the playoffs, but you can't just lean on that as an excuse. This team had an amazing start to the year, but there was some signs that problems were looming. Even in the end of season article written by Greg Cowan in the Owen Sound Sun-Times, mentioning that from Scott Ray, the head coach, he was saying that it was hard to coach this team. He wanted them to play boring hockey, try and play more defensive-minded, but he said there was too many individuals on this team. So it sounds like things, once the injuries started to hit this Owen Sound Attack team, everything just went off course. And at this point, the Owen Sound Attack have now been swept 4 straight years. They haven't made it to the second round of the playoffs since 2018. I think it's safe to say that there needs to be a new direction with the organization. We've had, different head coaches over the last few years take over and try and lead this team in a new direction. Dale DeGray has been there for a long time. He's been there. He was there when they won the OHL championship in 2011. So you kind of wonder if maybe this is the year you blow it up and you start from scratch. They do have some good talented players coming back, but they still have that uncertainty about who's all in fact coming back with those NCAA commitments. Pierce Bowie said he's going to make up his mind once the draft is done. Tristan DeLille, he says he wants to come back, but he's keeping his NCAA options open. So there's so much uncertainty with this Owen Sound attack team. It's hard to say even what can we expect from this group next year because there's been so much um, disappointment with this group over the last few years. So what a tough finish here for the Owen Sound attack. But on the flip side, this Flint Firebirds team, they have a ton of confidence going into the second round, likely playing the Windsor Spitfires in a second round series, depending on the results tonight. But yeah, tale of two teams. Owen Sound struggling, looked like a disaster out there. But then on Flint, everything's come together perfectly. The additions from the trade deadline, Kevin He and Jacob Battaglia, they've been sensational. So Firebirds, we'll see if they can continue this momentum going into the second round. But man, oh man, tough times right now in the Scenic City. And the final news story to touch on, Porter Martone, the former Brampton Steelhead, he has signed his entry-level contract with the Philadelphia Flyers. Martone was selected 6th overall in the 2025 NHL entry draft, and he decided to go to the NCAA route. Now that that season's over, he is signed with the Philadelphia Flyers, and he could make his debut before the NHL playoffs and could be a factor here as Philadelphia still tries to make it into the postseason. So congratulations to Porter Martone. Obviously, he would have been a big piece for the Brampton Steelheads this season if he would have come back. But just like Jack Ivankovic and Luke Misa, they all decided to go NCAA. And now Porter Martone ready to join the Philadelphia Flyers for the second half of the season for this final push. So those are the news stories I wanted to touch on here today. As you can tell, my voice still not the strongest. So we'll see what happens tonight as the Barrie Colts take on the Niagara IceDogs in Game 4 of their series. The broadcast, the radio broadcast, will be here on the channel from the Booth with Mike. So make sure you click subscribe. It'll either be myself or Josh McCann calling the game. We'll have to wait and see between now and puck drop. So again, thank you very much for all your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, welcome back here to the Meridian Center in St. Catharines, Ontario. We're through into the second intermission. 5.5 minutes to go. It is a tight squeeze in the press box here. There's not too much room, so the computer kind of takes up a lot of space, and then, well, my notes take up a lot of space, and my three drinks as well.
I was going to say to Mike, you notice how like Josh is dead center camera, right? Like the camera's angled for him to be dead center.
For the record, Mike set everything up. Mike set the camera up. I just sat down. I just sat down in the seat that I was assigned.
Sure.
What? Yeah, blame the sick guy. Anyway, 5 minutes to go here in intermission. Looking at the out-of-town scoreboard, Sudbury Brantford, they're tied at 1 in the third period. Ottawa Kingston tied at 2 in the third period. Big comeback there from the Frontenacs trying to stay alive. North Bay currently up 2-0 on Peterborough. Kitchener has extended their lead to 4-1 over the Saginaw Spirit. Windsor with a 5-goal second period. They've got a 7-2 lead going into the third against Guelph. So I don't think my prediction of Windsor in 6 is going to come true. Looks like it's going to be a little bit less than that. But looking at that Brantford-Sudbury game, the guy getting the goal for the Brantford Bulldogs, Luca Testa. That line of Testa, Paquette, and Frasca, they're having quite the series. 3 goals already now for Testa, and he left game 2 early with an injury.
You know, and it's good to see for a guy that's really had a lot of injuries over his junior hockey career, has missed a lot of time and seems to be making it up in these playoffs.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, it's an incidental play, takes a knee on knee in game number 2, and that's obviously, it sucks to see, especially for a guy that's fought through injuries his entire career, but that just speaks to the depth of the Brantford Bulldogs. I mean, Testa, maybe not the most known guy around the OHL, but he's getting the job done in round number 1 with the Brantford Bulldogs. And looking out in the Western Conference, it looks like all 4 series are pretty close to being wrapped up. The London Knights staying alive last night with a big win over the Sioux Greyhounds. And we've talked a lot about the Owen Sound attack, obviously the worst goal differential in a playoff series at -32. In that series. And then the Windsor Spitfires, they just kind of kept chugging along in that series against the Guelph Storm, and it looks like they're going to sweep a Guelph team that's got a lot of work to do heading into their Memorial Cup run season.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's a really good Windsor team. I mean, you know, Guelph obviously looking for next season. They made moves for that, but this Spitfire team, you know, they kind of, you know, had a bit of a lull there in the second half, and everybody kind of forgot about them. And then they lost Belchitz, you know, to an injury, a season-ending injury. Yeah, career, no, but, you know, that was a tough loss, but that's a really good Windsor hockey club over there. And, you know, if everything kind of holds fort, I mean, that Windsor-Flint series round 2, wow, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, Flint's got to be careful. They can't get too cocky. I mean, they got a lot of guys scoring right now, and obviously that can be good. Get some momentum going. Get some guys like a Jacob Battaglia that didn't have the greatest regular season, really going in the playoffs, really feeling good. But at the same time, they got to keep in mind, obviously, that there's a big difference between the Windsor Spitfires and the Owen Sound attack. It also looks like Kitchener's going to sweep their series over the Saginaw Spirit. I mean, for Saginaw, it's a bit of a tough series, but I think they've got their goaltender of the future in Stepan Shurigan there. Another big performance from him tonight, just trying to keep Saginaw in that game. But Kitchener, they're just relentless.
Well, Saginaw fought tooth and nail those first 2 games in Kitchener. And sometimes when you lose 2 tough games like that are really close, and, you know, it just kind of takes the air out of the balloon, so to speak. And you know, they're never able to kind of recover, I think. You know, look, that's obviously a really good Kitchener team, but this Saginaw team, they got a ton of talent, especially offensive talent. And, you know, they got an outstanding netminder there. But, you know, credit to Kitchener for just being able to, their depth, kind of fighting through those 2 tough games at home, be able to pull it out now with a chance here to close out early.
Well, the thing is, too, with Kitchener, I mean, they've got a lot of offense, but they're also a very defensively structured team, and that's kind of led the way for them in this series, because off the start there, they were doing a good job holding Zhilkin, holding Klepov, holding Barabanov and Harper off the scoreboard, especially in game number 2. Saginaw, credit to them, they keep it scoreless through 2 periods, but then Kitchener holds them to 0 shots in the third period to allow them to come out with the win in that one, and they're up 3-0 as we get set to go here for the third period of play. Right now, Carter Lowe is having a discussion with a couple of officials, and they're going to skate over to the bench where Dylan Smoskowitz is down on almost on the ice as he's still on the bench, having a word with the officials. And that may have to do with the 6 power plays the Niagara IceDogs had in the second period. And obviously, a game like this getting a bit out of hand. So the officials may be calling a bit of a tighter game. And Dylan Smoskowitz maybe just wanting to remind them, hey, Niagara's going to be looking to take a piece out of us here for the way home back to Barrie. Just trying to make sure that the calls are going to go both ways here in the third period.
Those young coaches and rookie coaches trying to set the mark too. A little bit of pushback on some of the calls. And what's there, a minute 56? I mean, almost that. Another almost full power play here to start the third period, excuse me, for the Niagara IceDogs.
So the IceDogs right now, 2 for 5 on the power play. They'll have a minute 56 to work with here. And then Jonah McCormick will be back out of the box. Both power play goals, Riley Patterson coming up from the blue line and finding the back of the net. 8-3 your score, 20 minutes to play here from the Meridian Center. Edgar into the zone, trying to get around Aitchison. He'll chip it back to the point. Chromiak steps up, going across for Patterson. That missed and is flipped back the other way by Vaughn Richter. Liam Spencer has earned himself a promotion. He's up with the top unit here, at least to start this power play. Patterson's going to drop it back for Jakob Chromiak. Doherty comes off this unit. We'll see if he's on the second unit if Niagara chooses to go to them. Chromiak drops it back for Edgar. Gets it back across. Patterson over to Hayden Reed. Reed pushing it down low. Pinned to the corner by Gardner. Balfour Aitchison takes a big hit there from Liam Spencer. Lowe's going to send it back down the other way. Barrie's going to flip penalty kill units here. Aitchison and Vaughn Richter will come off the ice. Here's Chromiak. Leaving it there for Wang. IceDogs will make changes. Doherty will come out alongside Barnes and Wang. Patterson remains out. Joining them, Noah Reed. Wang gets it into the zone. Patterson will catch up to it. Knocking it down behind the net. Hanser gets a touch on it. Comes around the boards. Gardner looking to clear. Kept in. Puck comes back to the point. Here's Wang. Trying to get around Low. Gets it to Barnes. Blake Barnes fights off Low. Trying to push it down behind the net. Intercepted by Gardner. Couldn't get it out. Wang gets it over. Patterson steps up. He shoots. Save for Rebick. Rebound score. Third power play goal of the night for the IceDogs. This one belongs to Blake Barnes. And maybe we have a game 8-4 with 18:21 to go.
Nelson capitalized a minute 39 into this third period, and a slew of power play goals has it within 4. Question is, can the Colts stay out of the box here? And again, just a quick stop, but Barnes buries the rebound. Niagara IceDogs trying to find a way back in this one.
Well, for Barnes, his first of the series, had 1 goal all season. He's matched that total now. 8-4 your score. Knopf to the middle. Baudouin trying to get it out, or trying to keep it in. Smith floats it in on his own net. Spencer back across Chromiak. Chromiak up ahead for Smith. Up the wing, getting it ahead into the IceDog zone. The Barrie zone. Knopf down low for Smith. Out front, Gallianoff. That was blocked. Second chance. Chromiak stopped by Horebic. New life for Niagara. Knopf the shot. Save made of Horebic again. Spencer trying to send it to the net. That was blocked. Back to the point. It got past Spencer. And it's going to go back down the other way. 17 and a half minutes to go. Spencer up the wing. Tapped into the zone by Ray Smith. Rebick leaves it for Aitchison. Takes the check. Played forward. Salandra backhands it off the boards out back the other way. We saw in the third period last time, it was a pretty calm period between the Colts and the IceDogs as Barrie was just trying to shut that game down defensively. Aitchison to Salandra. Sent into the zone. Robertson to Delelche. Puck comes around. Hall gets it forward to Hage. Spins it through. Here goes Hall into the zone. Looking for the shot. That was blocked by Passmore. Aitchison around the boards. Wilmot trying to come up the wing. He takes the hit from Edgar. Back to the point. Tiller's shot blocked, and the puck will come back out to the neutral zone. Delelche looking to send it in. That was blocked by Passmore. Up the wing. Fan on the pass. Gets it back. Passmore shot save made by Robertson. Rebound's going to come all the way back out to the opposite blue line. Vaughn Richter for Desiderio off the boards. Right back into the zone. He takes the hit from Delelche. Robertson up the wing. Kept in. Desiderio. Down low. William Schneid gets loose. He'll play it around. Goes all the way back to Hanser. To the middle. Desiderio. Cross ice. Von Richter. Back to Desiderio. He'll shoot. That goes over top of Robertson. Rebound Hanser. Trying to get it out in front. Aiden Reed there as well. Jalelche couldn't hit Hanser, and then Hanser gets taken down by Monks. Hanser still at the puck, tried to put it out front. That was intercepted. And back the other way comes Niagara. Hayden Reed off the boards into the Barrie end. He's taken down by Desiderio. Here's Von Richter up the wing. Gallianoff with a hit. Robertson goes around the boards. Kept in by the Colts. Von Richter trying to float it to the net, blocked by Barnes. Niagara tried to spin it back the other way. Noah Reed trying to fight off Govro. He'll flip it in past the red line into the Colts end. Perebic out of his net, giving off Emerton. He flips it forward. Wang able to get it back. Collides with Govro. Doherty now sends it into the zone. Cole Emerton behind his own net, backhanding it forward. Govro got a touch on it. Doherty's able to keep it in. Played off the boards and put back down behind the net. Parker Von Richter to Govro. Up the wing. 15 minutes to go in the third period. McCormick getting it in on net. Robertson will make the save. Rebound comes free to Blake Barnes, the most recent goal scorer. 3 of 4 goals for Niagara have come on the power play tonight. Smith off the boards, around behind the net. Edgar going to get there first for the IceDogs. He gets it back to Noah Reed. Reed, pressured from behind by Hemming, takes the hit from Eliasson. Edgar to the point. Spencer waits, gives off. Chromiak steps up. He shoots. Save for Epic. Rebound score! The IceDogs won't back down. Ray Smith with the goal there. 8-5, 14:40 to go.
Oh, we finally got some 5-on-5 hockey, and all of a sudden the IceDogs all sorts of momentum off their 5 straight power plays. They put themselves right back in it. They've given themselves an opportunity. They've done it before against Barrie earlier this season, a big comeback. Can they do it again and get a big one here early in this third period?
Big goal there for Ray Smith. Niagara's made it an 8-5 game. Puck sent into the zone. Here's Wang up the wing. He'll shoot. That goes wide of Herebeck. Barnes to Patterson. Spins it back. Sending it to the net. That goes off of Herebeck. Aitchison up ahead to Wilmot. To the middle, Barnes. He'll send it into the zone. Down behind the net. Still 14 minutes to go. Wilmot to Salandra. Right back the other way. Played off the board. Salandra trying to get around Barnes. And he's taken down from behind. Penalty coming to the IceDogs. Here's Gardner. Off the boards. It's going to go back out the other way. Von Richter. He's just going to slow it down, coming back behind the empty net. 6-on-5 for the Colts. Penalty coming to the IceDogs for a check from behind on Joe Salandra. Von Richter to Baudouin. Gets it across. Aitchison into the zone. Aitchison back to Von Richter. Over to Wilmot. Tried to go back to Gardner. That's touched by Noft. Then that Barrie Colts are going to go back to the power play for the second time tonight. Cross-checking is the call against Blake Barnes. And an opportunity to get that lead back up to 4 here.
Going to do it, kind of put an end to this, and Barrie 1 for 1 on the power play. They'll get their second opportunity as Salandra was nailed from behind. And I mean, Niagara, you saw them, a bit of life. They get the early one, get it within 3. Well, the Colts here, you got to snuff that out right here. Take advantage of this man advantage. Well, the other thing, too, is that slew of penalties, it kind of really messes up your lines, and you're looking for the certain collection of penalty killers, and all of a sudden ice time starts creeping up here, and it's nice to see some 3-on-3 for a little bit. This last long there, or excuse me, 5-on-5.
Going for Barrie as well. Keep in mind, Baudouin, Hemming, and Aitchison are a big part of their penalty kill. Wilmot and Gallianoff getting into it right now as Gallianoff gave Wilmot a stick tap for the faceoff. Gallianoff lost his stick now. 5-on-3.5. Wilmot down low, scores. Ben Wilmot puts Barrie back up by 4. 9-5 with 13 minutes to go in the third period. Didn't even get to say that this power play was brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel.
Well, the Colts didn't waste long. Just 7 seconds into that power play opportunity, they bury it. That's what we need. You come right back. Yeah, Niagara's got some life here. They get themselves back within 3, but a big power play goal here by Ben Wilmot. And again, the Colts won control of that puck, got it down low, and Wilmot just kind of crept around from the side of the net and buried it far side over the right pad of Robertson. Now, Barrie Colts lead back up to 4.
3 goals in the postseason for Wilmot. Aitchison's shot blocked by Tiller goes up and out of play. Like we were talking about, it felt like Niagara was maybe getting back in this game, but then you take a penalty just like that. Barrie's on the board. Power play now 2 for 2 on the night. IceDogs with 3 power play goals of their own. Special teams have been a big factor tonight. Carter Lowe's going to take the face-off here against Riley Patterson. Patterson wins it. Tiller to Wang. Gets around Desiderio. Shi Wang up the wing. Couldn't send it in. Battle for it. Lowe kicks it back the other way. Backhanded off the boards into the Barrie zone. Aitchison to Desiderio. Takes the hit from Monk. Split up the ice. Wang gets it back. Works around Desiderio. Driving down low. Shi Wang still with possession. Getting it down behind the net. Noah Reed is there. Reed lost it. Monks gets it back. Scrum in the corner now. 3 Colts, 2 IceDogs. Patterson coming in as the trailer. Lowe getting involved as well, and now there's 7 of them battling for it. Schneid nearly knocked it loose. Now Patterson got it free. Wang tried to spin it back, and then Desiderio had him tied up. No call, but IceDogs have the puck. Monk's a shot blocked by Lowe. He's going to head off as Niagara sends it right back into the zone. Aitchison. Back across Passmore. The wing just going to flip it ahead. Goldbro chasing after it, able to knock it down. Puck played off the boards. McCormick takes down Edgar, gets the puck. McCormick trying to go down low, intercepted by Delelche. Getting it back up the wing now is Hall. Hall trying to get work around Elias, and he's sent it to the boards. Battle for it, Delelche behind the net. Emerton there now for the Colts. He'll play it up the boards, back out of the zone. Barnes spinning it right back in for Niagara. Puck goes to the corner. Hall and Emerton were tied up there. Barrie's going to take the puck back out the other way. Govro flipping it into the zone, right on net. Save made by Robertson. And we'll get another whistle here with 11:38 to go.
I mean, that was a big goal. I mean, yeah, you still got a 3-goal lead, but, you know, you can see a bit of life coming back into that Niagara Hockey Club. I mean, they use the power plays to get themselves back and give themselves a chance. And, hey, you know, again, they've done it before. It's nothing. They've come back big time against the Spirit team in Barrie. Well, what a big power play goal. Wilmot didn't waste long. With 7 seconds into that power play, you're back within 4. And all of a sudden now you just kind of see a little bit of life come out from Niagara after that Barrie's 9th goal.
That's a deflating goal there for the IceDogs. And Barrie's done that a couple times now. I mean, Niagara gets it back to 5-1, get a couple looks, but then Barrie scores 2 straight quickly to make it 7-1. Niagara power play got them back within 4. Ray Smith made it a 3-goal game, but then Wilmot made it 9-5. Smith in the corner. Got the most recent IceDogs goal. He gives it to Knopf, trying to put it out front. Broken up. Second chance, Hayden Reed. Blocked by Hanser. Tried to send it back to the point. That missed. Goes back down the other way. Chromiak getting it back for Niagara. Chromiak. Gonna wait behind the net. 10:56 to go. Chromiak gets around Baudouin, skating it back the other way. Gets it to the red line, sends it in, and will head off on a change. Galyanov chasing after it. Takes down Zabeski and gets the puck. Ivan Galyanov up the wing to the net. Save made by Hrebeck. Page taken into the boards by Passmore. Hemming up the wing for Baudouin, tied up. Patterson knocks it out. Page back across quickly. Delelche up the wing. Save made by Hrebeck. Rebound Patterson. Knocking it back to the point for Tiller. Grayson Tiller over to Delelche. He'll step up. He'll shoot. That was blocked. Rebound Patterson. Sent into the boards by Passmore. Patterson down low, spins it back. Up the wing. Patterson still with possession. Fights off Zabeski, but then came off of his stick out of the zone. Looking for a change. He gets it to Delelche up the wing. Quick shot. Save made by Hrebic. Has time to play it. And Aitchison will come back behind the net. Officially halfway through the third. 10 minutes to go in this one. Barrie up 9-5 on Niagara. Couple early third period goals from the IceDogs made it close, but Ben Wilmot, a power play goal, made it 9-5. Wilmot had the puck now. Knocked out of the zone. Eliason gets it back, sends it right in on net. Robertson makes the save. Tiller now up the boards, floated back out the other way by Niagara. Barrie able to get it back. Emerton for Salandra. Got a deflection on it, knocks it ahead into the IceDog zone. Tiller over to Wang. The wing, Haushi Wang battling with Salandra. Sent into the boards, try to push it back for Wilmot. Gets it there. Up ahead for Schneid. Trying to work around Noah Reed, but that was broken up. Spencer off the boards, back out the other way. Emerton will backhand it forward. Robertson waiting. Desiderio nearly got in front of that one. Schneid couldn't keep it in either, and the puck will go back down the other way. Von Richter for Schneid. Knocked forward. Puck goes down behind the net. Desiderio. It's the inside edge on Wang. Gets pinned to the boards. Low. Knocking it free for Barrie. Fighting off the pressure of Barnes. Spins it down low. Desiderio got a touch on it. Centering pass for Schneid. That just missed. Schneid fights off Noah Reed. Puts it down behind the net. Desiderio chasing after it with Barnes. Barnes is able to get there first. Plays it to Wang. If the board sent back down the other way. Icing already waved off. Goes into the corner. Hands are there first. Getting it back to Von Richter. They'll spin back. Resets. Knopf chasing after him. He's able to play it to Hanser. Up the wing. Edgar gets a touch on it. Sending it into the Niagara zone. Chromiak. Govro coming in from behind. Trying to get the puck back. Chromiak's able to spin through him. Back behind his own net. Chromiak in a reset. Gets it across. Liam Spencer. Up the wing. Deflected forward by Knopf. Gets it into the Barrie zone. Aitchison there. Gets it through the middle. McCormick got a touch on it. Govro trying to send it out, and he will. Eamon Edgar looking to get it back. Knocks it on the clearing attempt, but then collided with Chromiak at the blue line as he tried to get around him. Passmore. Takes the check from Knopf. Sends it into the zone off the paddle of Robertson. Chromiak. Getting it up ahead for Smith. Hayden Reed now trying to work around Hemming. Sends it into the zone. Aitchison to Emerton. Has some space. He'll give off to Cole Beaudoin. 2 goals in the first for Beaudoin. Part of a run of 4 straight goals by the Colts top line. Zabeski tried to put it out front, intercepted by Patterson. He'll go back the other way. Gets it forward. Knocked ahead into the zone by Monks. Eliason. Emerton. Flipping it back. Hemming knocked that one down. Played with a high stick, but touched by Tiller, so that'll negate it. Delelche. Coming around, strips of the puck. Beaudoin out front. Zabeski got a touch on it. Save Robertson. Emerton waits. He'll shoot, and that goes over top of the net. Rebound Edgar. That's the puck. Gets it across to Tiller. Long time without a whistle here. Tiller going to wait. 6:45 remaining in the third period. Grayson Tiller. Cross for Delelche. Up the wing. Page getting a touch on it. Puck goes down behind the net. Von Richter. Around the boards, Gardner. Fights off Edgar. Trying to come through the middle. Gardner. Gets it over to Salandra. Back to Gardner. Brad Gardner into the zone. Nice move around Barnes. To the net. Save made Robertson. Rebound loose. Noah Reed with the puck. Gets it back to the middle for Edgar. Ryerson Edgar into the zone. That's just offside with 6:16 to go. So we get our first whistle in a while here.
Well, you want your best players to be your best players, and the Colts top line, they've certainly done that here tonight. Cole Beaudoin and Ian Hemming each with 2 goals and 4 points. Mason Zabeski with a goal here tonight. So Ben Wilmot, another big game as well, 2 goals and an assist, but the big guns certainly showed up. But, again, you look at the numbers, the big guns leading the way, but it's been really a complete team effort here by the Barrie Colts here tonight.
And some other guys getting goals, including Nicholas Desiderio, gets a promotion to the third line with no Calvin Crombie and makes the most of it. Von Richter around the board, sent back out the other way. That's going to go down the length of the ice. And being icing with 5:57 to go. Colts up 9-5, and it all started way back on the first shift of the game. Niagara with a couple sloppy turnovers, and it kind of felt like from there, they just weren't in this game at all.
It's just an early knockout punch by the Barrie Colts for the most part. And, I mean, they chased Yermolenko early, 3 goals on 6 shots, and that was it for him. Niagara didn't have a shot, I think, into the 6th minute of this game. Really a strong start here again. And, in game 3 here, Niagara very outshot Niagara 20-3. They came out of that one with a 2-1 lead this time. The offense came in big waves early on, and that's what you want. I mean, you get some success, and it has to feel good, being able to break out like that. And yeah, Niagara got some power play goals here, but again, their power play comes right back and gets that 9th goal, and that really settled things down here in this 3rd period. Niagara is starting to get some life back. You saw it, the sense of they're within 3, but a big power play goal by Ben Wilmot, and it's been fairly quiet since.
One-timer off the point. That goes wide of the net. Knopf spins it down low. Doherty gets loose nearly, but lost the puck. He'll go to the corner. Salandra up the boards. Couldn't get it out. Spencer keeps it in. Puck goes down to the corner. Intercepted by Gardner and sent back out the other way. Reed. Chromiak back to Hayden Reed. 5:30 to go in the 3rd. Salandra with a good stick check there. Collides with Doherty as well. IceDogs offside. They'll come back and regroup. Panzer to Low. That's deflected into the Niagara end. Looking at the out-of-town scoreboard, the Brantford Bulldogs are the first team from the Eastern Conference to move on to round number 2. Edison Angle with a goal in the 3rd period gives them the 2-1 victory over Sudbury, sweeping that series. Zelelche on the point. His shot blocked by Emerton. He's in a bit of discomfort. He's going to skate off now. Tiller back in his own end. Let's flip forward. Talked earlier about, here's Smith, a shot save made by Horebic. Rebound goes to the corner. Talked earlier about Flint being the only team to hit double digits. The Windsor Spitfires have done it as well. They're up 10-2 on the Guelph Storm. They're going to close out that series. Desiderio takes a hard hit from Gallianoff. Puck goes down the other way. Von Richter. Slowly but surely behind his own net. Gets it across for McCormick. Up the wing. Avoids the hit of Edgar. Putting it down behind the net. Eamon Edgar now chasing after it. He'll take a hit on Hao-Shi Wang. Von Richter. Pushing it ahead. Ryerson Edgar going for another hit. Got taken down again, this time by Von Richter. Up the boards. Out back the other way. Von Richter to Elias, and 4 minutes to go in the 3rd. They'll send it into the zone down behind the net. Robertson is there, leaving it for Wang. Wang going to spin back. Slow it down and regroup. So what a game we've had here tonight between the Colts and the IceDogs. 14 goals, including 6 total in the 1st period. Here's Wang. Coming forward, knocked down by Knopf. He'll send it into the Barrie end. Elias unable to get there first. Plays it around the boards, Hemming. Chipped ahead. Baudouin coming after. Takes the hit from Knopf and now sets up a potential 2-on-1. Zabeski came in onside. 3:19 to go, and then Zabeski just kind of flipped it towards the net. Exchanging words now with Hayden Reed, and it looks like Zabeski being shootout. Unsure if it's the face-off or... Yeah, it is. No unsportsmanlike penalty on the play.
Mason Zabeski always involved physically, and he's always having conversations out there with his opponents, and just a big power forward type that he brings it up front. What an addition he was at the deadline, along with Parker Von Richter from Brampton.
Well, it's not his game, but Mason Zabeski did have a goal tonight for the Barrie Colts. Passmore to the net, save made by Robertson. Desiderio backhanded down behind the net. 3rd line strong tonight for the Barrie Colts, getting the 1 goal in the 1st period, and since then they've had a lot of pressure in the offensive zone. Desiderio takes the hit, makes the play, sends it into the zone. Spencer back across Chromiak. A little behind his net. Slow it down again. Chromiak lost it, gets it back, plays the cross. Spencer up the wing, drop back again to Chromiak in front of his net. In trouble keeping that puck on his stick. Now we'll spin back and reset again. Kovro with words for him as Chromiak going to start skating it forward. Gets it across. Spencer up ahead. Knocked into the zone by Doherty. Puck will go down behind the net. Hanser tried to skate through, but was preparing for the hit. Lost the puck, and now he's all over Gallianov. That's going to be a penalty against Hanser. And then a big hit, and Govro ran over Monks, and that's going to draw a crowd. Von Richter's got one in a headlock. Doherty and McCormick going at it, and Von Richter heavily involved with Gallianov. He's going to wrestle him down to the ground. The initial penalty coming to Justin Hanser for a couple of cross checks on Gallianov. Govro's going to get a penalty as well for that big hit on Monks. As Monks went after Eamon Edgar, it looked like, and Govro wasn't having it. He's having words with the crowd now. Von Richter getting sent off down the tunnel. His night is done.
Well, we want to stay away from this. Obviously, just 2:06 remaining. You got the win, and well, I keep saying it. I mean, you got to think ahead. I mean, game 5 of this series is back Saturday night in Barrie. Colts rolling basically their third and fourth line here the last few minutes. Quick changes, and we'll start with kind of Hanser behind the net, then Von Richter with Gallianov, and we'll see what comes out of this.
Well, wonder if they're going to look at the McCormick hit. Monks is getting looked at on the bench. He got ran over after trying to go after Eamon Edgar, and yes, they are going to look at it on the tablet, and it's actually Justin Hanser that's under review for a 5-minute major, as him and Gallianov went after it behind the net, and Hanser just kind of started giving him cross checks over top. Unsure if it was in the back or maybe even to the helmet there, as they're going to take another look at it. Hanser is the only penalty up on the box, but they do have Govro in there as well. Didn't look like any IceDogs hit the box. Von Richter was sent down the tunnel for Barrie, so he'll likely get a misconduct.
Von Richter over at the board, a bit of a wrestling match. No punches thrown in that one, but that'll be it for him on the night.
Well, the Eastern Conference starting to shape up. A late goal from the Ottawa 67s. They're going to be moving on to round number 2, which guarantees that if the Barrie Colts win this series, they'll be playing Ottawa. And if the IceDogs can get back in this series and win it, they'd be playing the Brantford Bulldogs. North Bay has won over Peterborough 3-1, so they're heading back home with an opportunity to win that series. As we continue to look at this Justin Hanser cross-check as the two of them collide, and then Hanser just kind of starts raining down on him. Gage isn't wanting an explanation right now for something on the board.
It was rather tame here for most of this one here tonight. Still got the 5 minutes up there for Hanser.
Well, that penalties came down now, so it looks like he may be just getting 2. Although the door is open a bit. Yep, 2 on the board for Govro, 2 on the board for Hanser. And it may be just 5-on-3 here for the next 2 minutes. Chris Barch looking for an explanation. Faceoff will come to the right of Ben Horebic. Niagara down by 4 here. Going to get 2 full minutes of a 5-on-3, and then that would only leave us with 6 seconds left in the game. Chaos has unfolded here at the Meridian Center in the final moments. Already 2 suspensions coming from this series. 3 if you count Aitchison in game 68 against Niagara.
Crombie will be back Saturday.
So will Zada.
Zada, he'll return. What a crazy one this one has been tonight. Just really full. I mean, all that offense early and this series has been so close at times, and we had that kind of start. Then you had Niagara with a big run there with the power play goals, and rather tame up until now. And
IceDogs power play 3 for 6 on the night. They got a 5-on-3 for the next 2 minutes. Robertson remains in the net. Riley Patterson, 2 power play goals, gets it down low. Hayden Reed, back to Patterson. Over to Chromiak, steps up, cross, Edgar. Back to Chromiak, over to Patterson. Lots of room to work with here for Niagara. Patterson shoots, save made by Harebic. And we're going to scrum out front, and that was Spencer, and now he's got Passmore. Eliason going after him as well. Schneid getting into it out front with Hayden Reed. IceDogs going to bring Smith and Wang out on the ice. 1:44 to go. Edgar coming off. So will Hayden Reed. It's Niagara. Again, 3 forwards, 2D. Or sorry, 3D, 2 forwards.
Passmore, Eliason, and Zabeski. Big boys out there for Barrie.
Barrie keeps the same D, switch up the forward. Chromiak, across. One-timer Wang, save Harebic. Rebound loose for Spencer. He jams away at it. That'll cause another crowd out in front. Passmore and Smith go at it. Spencer and Eliason. It's now just 1:36 to go in the third period.
Oh, nice job by Eliason there as Spencer trying to get him going. And I want to stay out of this. A bit of frustrations by Niagara. And so that'll be it for, looks like, for Eliason.
Now he's getting sent down the tunnel. So is Liam Spencer on the Niagara side.
Spencer went after Eliason and Eliason peeking up over the
I
crowd.
can see him from here. He's there. I think I see Von Richter as well.
Don't want to catch the rest of it still.
Barrie's got to get another player out there. They're going to bring out Carter Lowe. They've only got 3 defenders now.
Well,
Emmer.
That bench really starting to lighten up as well. Bring your equipment, Josh.
So I do still have 2 years of OHL eligibility, so.
There you go.
Yeah, Barrie down 3 defenders plus a forward. IceDogs down 2 defenders themselves. Wang, back to Chromiak. On the line, Chromiak stepping up, giving off Patterson to the net. Noft was out front, but it goes wide. Chromiak, back to Noft. Back to Chromiak. Waiting. Chromiak to Patterson. 1:19 to go. Wang, slap pass. Chromiak steps up. Back to Wang. One-timer, missed the net. Patterson. Chromiak, Patterson again. Back to Chromiak, stepping up, waiting, shooting, blocked by Zabeski. Looked like that one stung. He's slow to get up. Now he's up. Chromiak, Wang, one-timer off the crossbar. Wang's got it again. Back to Chromiak, final minute of the third. Chromiak, Patterson, intercepted by Lowe and sent back the other way. Here comes Carter Lowe. Gonna chip it even further into the zone. Knocked off the puck by Patterson, given back to Chromiak. 40 seconds remain. Chromiak to Patterson. Getting it across. Hayden Reed, tons of space. 4-on-2, score! Well, we already had 14 goals. Why not another one? Hayden Reed with Niagara's 4th power play goal of the night. And we have a 9-6 game at the Meridian Center.
Just 34 seconds remaining and 4 power play goals by Niagara. It's made this one closer, the score better than really what it's been. Barrie was in complete control of this game, and a late power play on a 2-man advantage here by Niagara. It's at 9-6.
Well, Dylan Smoskowitz going to be happy with the start, but may not be too big of a fan of the finish here for the Barrie Colts. They scored the first 5 goals, 7 of the first 8, but find themselves in a 9-6 game here with less than a minute to go. Puck sent in to the cold end. Emerton looking to clear, remains in. Reed, Tiller, pass across for Wang, just missed. Wang sent into the boards by McCormick. That was a cheeseburger goal as well. Battle for it against the boards.
You don't get a cheeseburger, Mike.
Oh, just call me Mike.
I called you Mike. You and Mike.
Reed, one-timer. Tiller didn't get all of it. Puck goes to the corner, and that's going to do it. Noft will take a run at Emerton. The Colts, they don't really care, because they're going to take this game by a score of 9-6. A dominant first period effort, and they carried it over into the second and third, winning this game 9-6, your final.
I think the power play goals, 4 of them by Niagara, makes this game a lot closer than it was. I mean, Barrie really that took control this one early, got out to the 5 they chased. Yermolenko off with 3 goals and 6 shots. Got out to a 5-0 lead. Niagara trailed 5-1 after the first period, and Barrie up 8-1. And then after that, it was a trail to the penalty box for the Barrie Colts. Niagara capitalized some power plays, but really the Colts were in control of this one all game.
Well, that's just the thing. Barrie scores 8 of the first 9, and then from there, the officials kind of understand that it's a blowout, and they figure, okay, we want to avoid any injuries, any suspensions in this game. And from there, the IceDogs weren't really playing a physical game. The Colts were, and that kind of led to a couple penalties against Barrie. Niagara gets back-to-back power play goals, both on the 4-minute double minor to Luke Govero for the high stick. And then from there, another goal on the McCormick penalty. And that kind of got the IceDogs back in the game, and they squeak out an extra one here in the third period as well, late on the power play goal by Hayden Reed.
You know, they took advantage. I mean, for Barrie, again, I mean, you saw the rough stuff come up late for the Colts. Again, first and foremost, obviously, you want to end this series on Saturday night. You don't want to give them any kind of life, and you want another big start. 2 big starts on the road here in the first period were a big factor in these Barrie wins, and you want to continue that Saturday night, but as well, you want to avoid all this other stuff. I mean, you can see a little bit of frustration in Niagara here in this third period, and you want to avoid that if you want to think ahead. I mean, Barrie already with Crombie, Aitchison was suspended. You don't want guys taking unnecessary penalties, and obviously, first and foremost, just getting off to a good start, but a big win here for Barrie, a strong start, and they did their job. They came out on the road after giving up that overtime goal at home 1-1, and Niagara had some life, but the Colts with good starts in first period get the job done here in St. Catharines.
Well, time for the 3 stars of the game, brought to you by Craighurst Crossings, by Georgian Communities, New Homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm. And for the Niagara IceDogs, they do get the 3rd star of the game. It's Riley Patterson, 2 goals, 2 assists. A lot of that coming on the power play, as he was still a -4 on the night. 2nd star of the game, Cole Baudouin, 2 goals, 2 assists, +3. That top line really strong in the first and second period. And getting that 1st star, Emil Hemming, 2 goals, 2 assists, a +3 on the evening. And for the Barrie Colts, they'll take a 3-1 series lead into Niagara. We talk a lot, or back home to Barrie, and we talked a lot about deja vu, playing the IceDogs again in the 2 versus 7 series. And now deja vu, the Barrie Colts, they're up 3-1 going home. And if it's similar to last year, they got an opportunity to close it out here at the Sadlin Arena, because I know Gene Pereira may not want to come back here on Easter Monday.
You know, no. Look, you always like some days off, but you know, again, I mean, you got to put the foot back, keep the foot back on that pedal. And, you know, really, again, Barrie, 2 strong starts. I keep saying it over and over, but you came in on the road after, you know, figure Niagara's got some life. And what do? That first period on Tuesday night, 20-3, the shots in Barrie, a 2-1 lead after 20 minutes. a much more assertive Colts team here tonight. Here with the offense gets going early, and really Niagara was just after chasing of that. And again, I think Barrie was in control of this pretty much well this whole game. You want to stay out of the box, that'll be key. But again, I think you want to repeat the performances that you had here in a lot of ways in St. Catharines.
Well, talking to Keishon Aitchison before the game the other night, he told me about their road play. They want to bring the jungle to them, and the Barrie Colts certainly did that this week, sweeping both road games over to Niagara IceDogs tonight's by a score of 9-6. The Colts and IceDogs rematch at the Sadlin Arena on Saturday. You can catch that game live on Rogers TV. Pregame show at 7 p.m., puck drop at 7:30. Should the IceDogs win, we'll be right back here at the Meridian Center on Monday for a 7 p.m. start. The live stream would get underway at 6:45. That's going to do it here tonight from St. Catharines. For Mike Poirier and Gene Pereira, my name's Josh McCann. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you eventually.